For over 16 years, EJDConstruction.com has provided South Florida residents quality craftsmanship, accurate project management, and exceptional service. That's why EJDConstruction.com is an A-rated member of Angie's List and the Better Business Bureau. When you're looking for the right custom home builder for additions or home remodeling, please call my friend Eric at 305-433-4843. That's 305-433-4843 for EJDConstruction.com.
This is the Big O Show.
There's many ways to support our program, from subscribing and liking the show to visiting our terrific sponsors. Another way is using Cash App. If you would like to donate to the show and help us grow, download Cash App and search Cash Big O Show. That's Cash Big O Show. We appreciate your support as we continue to build the best sports show on the planet for South Florida sports fans. Support the Big O Show by using Cash App and donate to Cash Big O Show. Thank you for your incredibly loyal support.
This is the Big O Show.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
This is the Big O Show.
Sports fans love a place with great food, cold drinks, and TVs everywhere. That's why sports fans love Sports Grill and their 7 amazing locations. Check out the Bird Road location at 11481 Southwest 40th Street in the back corner of the West Bird Shopping Center. Sports Grill is also now offering some great employment opportunities. All kinds of positions are now available, from kitchen to hosting. Call for more information at 305-485-8845. From wraps to salads to amazingly delicious specialty dishes, Sports Grill is the home to the legendary special grilled wings. Since 1987, Sports Grill, good food, good drink, and good friends. When you're ready to purchase a new home or refinance the one you have, American Dream Lending will make sure your loan experience is easy with fast approvals and quick closings. With many loan programs and competitive rates, now is the time to turn your dreams into reality. Ask about special financing for veterans. They never charge an application fee, and you will work directly with one of their experienced loan professionals. Stop dreaming and contact American Dream Lending today, 786-802-1727, or online at adreamlending.com.
This is the Big O Show. 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 This is the Big O Show.
There's no need to drive around South Florida wasting valuable time looking for a new or certified pre-owned Acura. Go to the #1 volume sales dealership in the Southeast United States. Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. Purchase with pace and space in a dealership tailored to your needs. From home buying to providing that personal touch. Contact the 2020 Satisfaction Award winner Craig Zinn's Acura of Pembroke Pines. 888-776-5123. That's 888-776-5123. Or visit them at 15601 Pines Boulevard in Pembroke Pines.
The viewpoint, statements, or beliefs expressed on the following program by the host, guests, or callers are not necessarily the opinions of FantasyXS.com, Media Group Inc. ownership, management, sponsors, or website. When it comes to South Florida sports teams, very few in the media have witnessed, lived, and covered it like the Big O. Let's start the program dedicated to your favorite South Florida teams with a passion that's unmatched. The Big O Radio Show is on. Here's the Big O.
All right, good morning. Welcome aboard. It's a beautiful Thursday. Hope you all are feeling well. We're getting closer to Dolphins football. Tonight we get the NFL. USA yesterday with one hell of a second half. And thanks, because they as I stay up later every day and still have to get up to do this, you know, the bags just grow and grow every morning. I'm a night person, right? So it's just one of those things, like, I hate going to sleep. It's just one of those, I hate going to sleep. And then I really hate waking up in the morning, you know what I mean? But we got to do what we got to do. But last night, thanks to the U.S. national team, that was the first half was kind of frustrating, but the second half was much better. So we got a lot of things to talk about today. We got some football tonight. Finally, we got the NFL starting. We had college over the weekend, which wasn't good for us as fans, but it's just nice to have football back. It's the drug that we don't get enough of every single year. We can't get enough of it. Hell, this year we get 17 games instead of 16 in the NFL, which is just absolutely awesome, which gives us an extra game of Dolphins football, getting ready for the playoffs, because as you know, on this show, we're not down on the Dolphins. We're not dissing the Dolphins. We're not disrespecting the Dolphins. I think this is a damn good team. I think it's going to be a lot of fun this year, and I think they're going to end up shocking people. Apparently that's what's going to end up happening. But, I mean, and you know, we're going to have Joe Shad on here at the top of the hour at 10 o'clock, and that's why we started off a little earlier today, because Shad's going to be on with us. And so I wanted to kind of warm the seat up before Joe Shad joins us. And one of the things that I wanted to, talk with all of you about today, and I think some of you have to kind of let it go a little bit, and you got to understand what's going on. And I'm getting a lot of questions and DMs and emails and all that. And by the way, thank you. You're all starting to use the Big O Radio Show at yahoo.com a little bit more often now. And so it's a great way of communicating. And I got a couple, actually like several of them yesterday about this. I think all of you have to stop worrying about power rankings and respect around the league. The Dolphins have only had one season where they had the 10 wins under Flo, and that was last year. And because pandemic and everything, they probably don't even get the kind of credit that they deserve for the 10-win season. And that's why I think you see a lot of people yesterday. If you check out the Sports Grill Miami Dolphins report with Alan Poupart, we kind of talked about that. Alan also has them a little lower on the rankings too. And I think that's kind of the norm around the country for a lot of people and media, is that what Miami did last year was more of an aberration. And you know how I tell some Dolphins out there not to live in the past and not to think that what's going on now is or what's about to happen now is some of the things that reflect from the past. And some of you, you kind of are almost waiting for something bad to happen because that's what you're used to, right? And I try to tell you, hey, forget the past. and stay in the present, enjoy what's going on. You've got a real team now. You got a real front office. You got a real head coach and staff. This is a team that's on the rise. So enjoy it. Don't worry about what other people are saying, and don't worry about the past. Well, right now we have a lot of people, media, and people that aren't Dolphin fans. They're living in the past, and they should be. Let me explain why. While I tell the hardcore fan that's watching or downloading or however it is you connect with us, I tell you, don't live in the past, let it go. Others, and it's difficult to do. I get it, because you've been beaten up the last 20-something years with just a terrible organization. But the people on the outside, they don't care about the team. And so they follow it casually. And if you follow it casually, you expect the Dolphins to be the Dolphins and what they've been the last 20, 25 years. Their flow hasn't gotten to the point. Like, he's caught people's attention, but he hasn't gotten to the point yet where he's considered one of the best coaches in the league. And he's got to earn that right. The Dolphins have to earn that right amongst everybody. So the Dolphins are going to have to go out again this year and have another winning season. It's kind of like the Pro Bowl, right? You might have a young player that has a really good year, and then you go, well, he deserves to be in the Pro Bowl, but he doesn't get in. How many times does that happen? That's because the young guy has to come back and do it again, and then the rest of the league, his own peers and everybody, starts to give him the respect, because now it wasn't an aberration. Now it's consistency. Now it's respectability. Now you've taken it to another level. And I think that's what's going to happen this year for the Miami Dolphins. They're going to have to go out and win another 10 games, 11 games, 12 games, whatever it is. And they're going to have to follow the 10-win season. And they're going to have to follow the 5-4 finish from the year before that. And if you go out and win another 10 or 11 or 12 games this year, to go along with the 10 last year, to go along with the way you finished in year one, I think now you start to develop a habit, a consistency, and it's no longer a fluke. And that's always been the Dolphins. 08, you make the playoffs, and then you effing disappear. 16, you make the playoffs, and then you disappear. 01, you make the playoffs, and then you disappear. You understand what I'm saying? And so I think that's what's going on around the league. It's like, yeah, they had a good year, but whatever, it could have been the circumstances, things went their way, this and that. There's going to be all kinds of excuses, because there's no way that the Dolphins could actually be a good team. There's no way they could actually now be a good organization. No, it's the old Dolphins. They'll show up with 10 games, and then they'll disappear with a bunch of crappy seasons, and then they'll come back 7-8 years later with another good season. That's exactly what they're thinking. And you know what? That's what they should be thinking. And that's a good thing. Let them underestimate. Let them not respect. But in the end, the Dolphins aren't going to get any respect off of one season. So that's the reality. And so a lot of you Dolphins out there, you got to let it go, man. Don't worry about the power rankings on ESPN or on Fox or anywhere else. It doesn't matter. None of that matters. The only thing that matters is what you do on Sunday starting at 4:25. 2:30, by the way, here on the channel. Make sure you're here at 2:30. Forget 4:25. Start at 2:30 with us here. 2 hours prior to the game, 2 hours after the game will be on. So make sure, okay? Your day starts at 2:30 with us, not at 4:30, okay? Anyway, so I think that's kind of part of the game, and that's really all that matters. And don't worry about the people that don't believe in Tua, because, again, he hasn't done enough yet for people to believe in him. And so now that's his job to go out there, prove it to himself first and foremost, and then prove it to the rest of the world that he can be a franchise quarterback. You know what I mean? This is what this whole season is all about. It's about trying year one, you started to establish the culture. and you were successful in the second half of the season in the way you've established a culture because you taught something and the message got through that the second half was better. Well, that culture rolls over to the following season and they win 10 games. You and I, okay, all of you that are downloading this show, those of you that are watching here on YouTube, you and I watched the 5-4 finish in year one. So we started to feel better about it because we're watching this. But to the periphery, it's 5-11. That's all they give a shit about. That's all they see is 5-11. You and I see improvement in 5-4, kicking the Patriots' ass in the final year of the final game of the season, then coming back and winning 10 games. And in the middle of switching quarterbacks, winning 10 games, which people don't ever look at that shit, right? It's like, how many people do that? How many people maintain winning and have a winning season when they're still trying to develop one guy and they have a journeyman quarterback on the other side? You know how difficult that is? But nobody gives them any credit for that. But you and I see that. They just see 10-6, Fitz, whatever. Tua was okay in their eyes. And, yeah, the Dolphins had a nice year. Big deal. It's the way they look at it. But we look at it as, hey, it's 15-10 in the last 25 games. It's a team that had a really good offseason now. It's a team that we feel had a good draft. It's a team we feel is going to go to the playoffs. But we're closer to the situation. The writer sitting in Atlanta isn't. The guy sitting in New York writing isn't. The guy in California writing isn't. The woman in Kansas City writing isn't. The lady in Dallas writing isn't. They don't watch this team every day. So expect the disrespect from people because this year is about actually earning the respect from everybody else. That's what really it's all about because you've only done it in their eyes for one season. We look at it differently. We look at a season and a half of improvement, but that doesn't matter to the average person. That only matters to us, the Dolphin that watches this team every single day, every single year, for many years, for many decades. And so we have watched what bad is, and we can tell this is really, well, most of us can tell this is something that's different. This is something that's organized. This is something that's headed in the right direction. So that's why I kind of wanted to open up with that because I kind of feel that too many Dolphins are worried about the periphery. Just stay in with us. Stay in with the people that believe in the team just like we do and let the outsiders catch up to us now. Because I think in the end, we will all be, those of us that are positive about the Dolphins this year, we feel good. I think eventually everybody else will learn that the coaching staff knows what the hell they're doing. The front office is very progressive and exactly understands how to stay flexible from one year to another. And eventually we're going to talk about that too on the show. There's a lot of things to be positive about with the Dolphins. The problem is what sells is negativity. What sells is doubt. And that's what gets a lot of, nobody talks about crypto when it's riding. But then if there's a bump in the road and the SEC says something or Elon Musk or whatever, it gets glorified, it gets magnified, and then people talk about it. But meanwhile, while things are going well, nobody's talking about it. Like right now, it's bouncing back again from the correction it had. And yet nobody's talking about it right now. You understand? But that's fine because the people that are hardcore and follow crypto, they know what's going on. The people on the outside don't know what's going on and they just react to the negativity. That's exactly what's going on here. There's a reaction to the negativity. And right now, they haven't earned enough on the outside. That's what the 2021 season is. While you and I look at it as a tune-up, and we know it leads to a title the following year, they are now trying to watch. You go out and win 10, 12 games this year. You get into the playoffs. Watch the respect that the Dolphins are going to get the following season. Oh, back-to-back double-digit wins. They made the playoffs. They made some noise. This is an up-and-coming team, yada, yada, yada. This is Andrew Van Ginkel and Javon Holland, and and they'll start talking about the players on this team. That's what's going to end up happening, folks. That's why I say relax. Don't worry about what others think. Just worry about Sunday. Let's have some fun. Let's watch the game. Let's hope for the best. And let's hope that it's a 1-0 record heading into Buffalo so we can feel pretty damn good about the team ourselves. Because in the end, that's what it's all about. It's about us being satisfied, not the outside. All right. Remember, many ways to reach out to us. The Yahoo email, BigORadioshow@yahoo.com. Of course, on Twitter @BigOShow. YouTube, for those of you already on the YouTube page, you are loaded up. Appreciate all of you out there. We are awaiting Joe Shad, and we will get to Joe hopefully in a couple of minutes. And hopefully we will get to him. And talk a little Dolphins and get a little discussion going with Dolphins and Patriots. Okay, let's see. What else do we have? We got a bunch of things I want to talk about throughout the show. I'll talk about the U.S. and Honduras game. Marlins defeated the Mets. That was nice. It was nice and it wasn't. And I'll tell you why. We got Cowboys and Bucks I want to get into also. I got some stuff around the NFL, some Hard Knock stuff, some stuff locally I want to get into. I got a bunch of things, actually, today to get into. All right, so what we're also going to do is talk a little Miami Dolphins football, the American Dream Lending Miami Dolphins weekly report. That, my friends, is next.
Dolphins fans, buckle up. It's time for the American Dream Lending Miami Dolphins Report with Joe Shad. When you're ready to purchase a new home or refinance the one you have, American Dream Lending will make sure your loan experience is easy with fast approvals and quick closings. Call them at 786-802-1727 or online at adreamlending.com. Here's Joe Shad with today's edition of the American Dream Lending Report.
All right, let's do it, baby. There he is, and he is at the right angle, too, this time, which is a beautiful thing. Good morning, Joe. How are you doing, my friend?
It's kind of like Tua Tagovailoa. The first couple of series, you got to figure things out, and once you do, football's easy.
That's it. You get it.
The Big O show is easy.
That's it. Look at it. It's nice and easy. We got the American Dream Lending board up. I mean, life is good right now, bro. We're ready for, and we got football finally here. It's here, Joe. Now you actually get to cover the game itself and not all the stuff that was going on in the off season, right? I mean,
it's such a long off season. I actually, I like the transactions. I like free agency. I think in the NBA, I enjoy the off season and the free agency more than the actual games. In the NFL, I like the games. I like Sunday. And it's usually Sunday. The Dolphins don't get a lot of Thursday and Monday games. We'll see if that changes.
That will change. And, I was just talking about that will change. And I think that I really compare it a lot to the young player that has a really good season. And then the writers are writing like, he deserves to be in the Pro Bowl. The fans are saying, he deserves to be in the Pro Bowl. But he doesn't get to the Pro Bowl because it was his first year actually playing well. And as you know, Joe, you've covered this league long enough. Usually that player has to come back the second year, play really well, and then they start getting that Pro Bowl recognition, all pro recognition, even better if they're that good. And I think the Dolphins kind of got their rookie year out of the way last year in 10 wins. And, a lot of Dolphins have been DMing me and reaching out to me on Twitter and emails and saying, I don't like that they're disrespecting the Dolphins. They're not believing in them. And I use that a lot like it's that first year. 10 wins was excellent, but around the league and in general, I think people need to see you do it again. so they could kind of believe that it wasn't an aberration. And I think if you get another double-digit win season, and even if you get in the playoffs, I think you start to get that respect and people start to believe that the Dolphins are real. Agree or disagree?
Yeah, Big O, there's a lag time in life. I wish that when I was watching football on TV that it was live, but it's not. There's a delay. And it's frustrating because I see what happened on Twitter before I see it on my TV screen. It's very annoying. But when the MMQB came out with their playoff predictions this morning, 8 of their reporters left out the Dolphins, and 0 included the Dolphins in the playoffs. Now, to suggest that there's a 0 in 8 chance that the Dolphins are going to make the playoffs this year is patently absurd. And what these reporters, many of them, don't realize is the improvement that Tua Tagovailoa has made behind the scenes. They don't get the access to practice that I have had, and they don't get access to the player interviews that I have had. And that's why I understand that, you win 10 wins with a injured Tua Tagovailoa. There's no reason to believe that they will not duplicate that effort. So I'm not a big gambling guy, Big O, but whatever the over is or whatever odds you can get on the Dolphins making the playoffs, I would take it.
Yeah, it's 9.5, and I would take it also. I think it's going to be a double-digit win, and I take it to another level than you do. Actually, I look at it from the 5-4 finish from the first year. I look at it after 0-7. This has been a franchise that has taken off after 0-7 because that win in Foxborough at the final game of the season meant a lot to this team. Screw the record, the 5-11, all that. That's what people look at. I look at 5-4. I look at that guy did not lose that team after 0-7. That tells me you're a hell of a coach.
Yeah,
because
this roster
you got
is,
and then now 10-6. I look at it differently.
This roster is twice as good as the roster that Flores had even at the end of the 2019 season. And I think the Deshaun Watson stuff sort of played into many national journalists' perception of who Tua Tagovailoa is and what the Dolphins believe he can be. You remember how prior to the NFL draft, when the 49ers secured the 3rd draft pick, someone said, Mac Jones is the guy. And then everyone just kept repeating it. Oh, Mac Jones is the guy. Mac Jones is the guy. And it is ironic to me that everyone made fun of the 49ers for considering Mac Jones. Meanwhile, Bill Belichick is some genius for landing the next Tom Brady. I mean, I understand it wasn't with the 3rd pick. So I'm going to be very fascinated to see if Mac Jones lives up to all the hype that there is about him being the next Tom Brady. And I get the feeling that Tua Tagovailoa is really relishing this opportunity, Big O, to face Mac Jones. He's not the guy who's going to come out and say, I started ahead of Mac Jones for a reason. I was Mac Jones before Mac Jones was anything. He's not going to come out and say that. But underneath the surface, having been asked a ton of questions about Mac Jones this week from reporters, oh, how smart is he? Oh, how competitive is he? Sorry, I got to get a sip here.
I got you. Hey, trust me, bro.
I think that underneath the surface, Tua is fired up about this matchup. And I know he doesn't face Mac Jones per se. He faces the Patriots defense. But I would put my money on Tua against Belichick as opposed to Mac Jones against Brian Flores and Josh Boyer.
Yeah, no, I'm with you, and that's what I was telling Dolph fans, that I think Tua is going through a stage where he's got to kind of convince the periphery that he's the guy, and then the team has got to also convince the periphery that they are a consistent team and that 10 wins last year wasn't an aberration. And I think also to a certain extent, Coach Flo has caught the attention of a lot of people around the league. But again, I think he needs a winning season too to kind of put that layer out there. And then I think people will give them the respect that they've earned. And leading into that, I think that's kind of what's gone on also with the whole captain thing, and we're making, I think, a little too much out of all of this because you look at a lot of the names there, those are guys that are experienced and they've been through it, and whereas Tua has not. And I think I like the fact that he's not the captain right now because he's got to kind of prove himself also, and not just in the players' eyes, but to himself. And I think a year from now, once he goes out there and he makes this his team, I think he becomes that captain right away next season. But it's just there's a process to all of this. But first of all, the question is, are people making too much in your eyes out of this whole captain thing?
So in the column I wrote in the Palm Beach Post that's on the website today, I wrote that it would have been more ideal if Tua was the captain, but don't panic, don't overreact. Don't think that this sets off some sort of alarm that Tua is not a good leader. He is a good leader. This is not an alarm that says, oh, these guys don't respect him. They don't like him. They don't trust him. That's not true at all. So the truth, as is usually the case, lies somewhere in the middle. I personally would like to see the quarterback be the leader of the team and to have that captaincy title. Now, the titles are less important than what actually happens behind the scenes. The fact that he's not a captain doesn't take away the fact that he was the guy who put together the offseason workouts. He's the guy who's been making the on-field corrections and getting the entire team together on the practice field to talk about what went well and what didn't. He's the guy that's been grabbing guys on the sideline during preseason games. That's far more important than the title. But, I mean, even you would have to admit that it was a bit odd and a bit surprising to hear that, you know, Matt Collins is a captain, and we like Matt Collins, and he's clearly a very well-respected team player who's selfless and good on special teams and underrated as a receiver. But, you know, it was surprising. I think in an ideal situation, the Dolphins' highest paid and most famous players, not just Tua. In an ideal situation, Xavier Howard, who can't be a captain, he requested a trade. Byron Jones, who's the highest paid player on the team. Devontae Parker, who probably will never be a captain because of his soft-spoken nature.
Right.
Would all be captains. But, you know, we can't always get what we want. And I will say this in conclusion, Ryan Fitzpatrick was not a captain in his first season with the Dolphins, at least at the start of the year in 2019. He was not voted a team captain. Of course, he was the captain throughout the season and was the captain in the following 2 years.
Right. And that's where I think that's what will happen this season. As he establishes himself, as he plays well, which I expect him to do both, I think he will earn that right and people will gravitate around him. And instead of hanging on to this whole captain crap so much, all these examples you talked about with Tua, he's a communicator. He's an organizer. And he is showing leadership qualities there by doing those kind of things. But again, you don't become that guy, I'm glad that they didn't hand him that. I'm glad that he's trying to become that guy by earning it in the end.
Just to push back a little bit, they is not Brian Flores and the Dolphins. Remember, this was voted on by the players, which makes it a little weird. Now, Matt Collins did say that players put their names in the captaincy hat by standing in front of the room and saying, I would like to be a captain, or here's why I should be a captain. I do not know if Tua did not do that. Really, neither side is great, right? It's either Tua didn't stand up into the room and asked to be a captain. Well, why didn't he? Or he stood in front of the room and asked to be a captain and wasn't chosen. So neither answer is kind of great, just to be honest.
No, true. You're right. Although I like the latter because in his eyes, I haven't earned it yet. I was just named a starter and I haven't really taken over. I could see where he did not go up there and say, I want to be captain because he has it in his eyes. He's like a blue collar, old school type of kid. In his eyes, he probably feels that he hasn't earned it yet. So he doesn't want to do something like that. I bet you next year, after he balls out this year, he'll stand up and he'll have that comfort zone of saying, "Hey, I'm the man. I got to be the captain."
I can't
and
wait
I think,
for. I was going to say,
go
man,
ahead.
I can't wait for a football game, man. This stuff is all fun to talk about, and I think yesterday it was interesting that he wasn't named the captain, but I can't wait for this Buccaneers Cowboys game tonight. I can't wait to get on a plane and travel up to the Boston area. I can't wait to find out, hey, is Tua more advanced than Mac Jones, or
Right.
is everyone going to flip out if Mac Jones goes for 404 and Tua struggles and gets sacked 5 times, knock on wood, what Austin Jackson expected not to play. There's always an overreaction Monday, but especially week 1. It's kind of like,
Yeah.
after the first Major League Baseball game and your team blows a save in the 9th times, 10, because there's only 17 NFL games. I got to remember that 17 NFL games. That's very annoying.
The reaction on here will start right away on the post game show here on our show. So we'll be at Sports Grill in Miami Lakes. So hopefully it is a win, and we're celebrating, having some fun, and talking about it. Now, you talked about Austin Jackson, so let's segue into that. They only activated one dude. So I keep wondering that it was a contact thing with him more than anything, and they're kind of expecting him to come up with the back-to-back negative tests or results here and all of that. Should we find out today officially, or because tomorrow might be a little late on a Friday, but today, if he's cleared, he can practice and you can feel good about putting him in the lineup. Do you expect for us to hear something permanently today that either he's available or not, or is this thing going to drag into Friday?
Jackson reportedly tested positive. Based on the NFL protocols, it does seem that he would have tested positive because you are not placed on the NFL's COVID-19 list if vaccinated just as a contact. So that means, and so we can assume that Austin Jackson is vaccinated and thus would have tested positive if he's on the list. Now, that means that you would have to test negative twice in a 24-hour period, not to mention not having practiced.
Yeah.
It's just a long shot, in my opinion, to think that it's reasonable that Jackson will have a chance to come back. Now, that doesn't mean that it's been entirely ruled out. Head coach Brian Flores is not available today. That is an NFL change. Head coaches are available less often this year. So we will have to use our eyes and see if Austin Jackson is out there. The educated guess is he won't be, which would mean he's almost definitely out. And I think Greg Little is the most likely replacement at left tackle. Liam Eichenberg is an option, but he is coming off of 2 injuries, I believe a shoulder and a leg injury. And he is a rookie, and he's taken all his snaps at right tackle and left guard. So I think Greg Little, who struggled in Carolina, but has looked okay as a Dolphin, probably would be my leading choice to get the left tackle start.
Yeah, it's a left thigh. I think it is what it is with Eichenberg. It's a thigh injury right now with him. And I'm with you there. It's not going to be Jesse Davis that people have talked about. That would be asinine on their part to make a double switch where they would have to move Jesse to left tackle and then put somebody else at right tackle. That would make no sense. So I'm with you. I think it's going to be for sure Greg Little playing left tackle. So the final chess piece or move to that would be that they're waiting to make another move, right? And that could be maybe a Larnell Coleman just for security purposes to have another insurance policy and another body in there. So I would imagine either today or tomorrow there's going to be another transaction by the Dolphins, right? I would think.
Yeah, I mean, there's more flexibility with the COVID rules that, we're in place for 2020 and will be in place for 2021. So, if Eichenberg is active and does not start, then he could be your swing tackle. So you wouldn't necessarily have to add another tackle to the active game day roster. The Dolphins also signed another veteran offensive tackle to the practice squad. So that's something new where the Dolphins are adding some veteran players, guys with lots of experience, to the practice squad because the rules on that have changed also.
Jabal Shear, did you cover him back in the day?
Yeah. Is he a Pitt guy? I think he's a Pitt guy from South Florida.
Because you were covering college for a long time, so
yeah. Many of these players I covered, and sadly, many of them are now coaches. I mean, I was watching, Kellen Moore. I remember hanging out with him as a young player, and when he was a young player, and now he's the offensive coordinator in Dallas. So certainly,
Kellen Moore was at the Senior Bowl, and so I'm doing the show on Radio Row. And so they bring me Kellen Moore, Boise State, right? I think it was, if I'm correct. And so he sits down, and I look at him, and we had a really good conversation, I remember. And then when he walked away, I go, man, this guy looks like the paper boy. He doesn't look like a quarterback. That's what always stood out to me about Kellen Moore. He was a small guy, didn't really have, a body like you would think, like you would be, some kind of a quarterback. He was in, but obviously here he was at another level, and that's what obviously helped him survive somewhat in the NFL. It's kind of like Teddy Bridgewater. Bridgewater was not gifted by the good Lord with this incredible ability, but he's so smart that it's allowed him to stay alive in this league and be serviceable at times. And you got to be impressed with that when you're able to overcome with your smarts. All right, so talk to me a little bit about this game. Is it all down to the offensive line, Joe? Because I almost feel like I have a lot of faith in the Dolphin defense. I think they have a really good special teams unit. I think those units can keep it close. But if the offensive line doesn't do their job, it just feels like the quarterback and obviously the skill positions are going to have a long day. Does it come down to those five guys in your eyes in this game?
Yeah, I mean, there are ways to scheme around offensive line concerns. Obviously, part of the Dolphins' offense is built on the run-pass option, the quick pass, the screens, ends arounds and reverses. So there's things that the Dolphins can do to try to counter the Patriots' pass rush if, in fact, they decide to blitz many of the Dolphins' young, unproven, still offensive linemen. But yeah, going into this game, that's clearly the biggest concern. How will Greg Little, if he plays at left tackle, hold up? How will Solomon Kinley, if he plays at left guard, hold up? I think Jesse Davis will be fine. I think Michael Dieter actually has had a pretty decent camp. So I think, until proven otherwise, the Dolphins' offensive line is the biggest concern.
Who's the offensive player you think will make the biggest impact in this game, considering the defense they're facing?
Well, Myles Gaskin didn't play in the last game that the Dolphins played the Patriots. That was a victory, but the Dolphins ran for a ton of yards. So you have to imagine Gaskin's going to get the most touches in this particular game. Mike Gesicki is a little bit under discussed. There's been so much attention placed on the Dolphins adding Jalen Waddle, who they will want to get involved early, I assume, and Will Fuller, who's suspended for this game. But, I'll go with Gesicki. I'll give you Gaskin as rushing for 100 yards, and Gesicki, I'll give you 85-plus yards and 1+ touchdown. So,
Joe,
suit up Gesicki.
After going through training camp and the preseason, in your eyes, who will be the most impactful rookie for the Miami Dolphins this year?
Well, at the moment, Jason McCourty is ahead of Javon Holland, and at the moment, Jalen Phillips is a third-teamer. So, you have to go with Jalen Waddle. Now, I think that he's probably going to lead the receiver group in touches, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to be some sort of fantasy football PPR star. So, Waddle is the answer, assuming he stays healthy. He scared the heck out of us in a preseason game when he went down. And I asked him about it yesterday, and he said, I just got rolled up on. I wanted to be like, dude, you look like you were dying out there. Like, you weren't worried? Like, you didn't think you blew out a knee or an ankle or a leg or like – so I don't know. We'll see what we learn about Waddle, but, he has to mentally get past the idea of the injury concern. and that will help him in the way that I think Albert Wilson has mentally gotten past the injury concerns of his past.
Don't forget, you can follow Joe Shad on Twitter at Shad Joe. More importantly, subscribe to the Palm Beach Post. It's very, very affordable. Plus, when you subscribe, you will get exclusive content that you do not get normally when you go to the Palm Beach Post, because these guys do some extra writing. I like Hal's little Jim Mandich stuff that he did today on the liners of the Mad Dog still living amongst us after all these years. And it is so true, because I use a lot of them on my show a lot of times in honor of Mad Dog. So really check out the Palm Beach Post, because Joe and the staff do an excellent job of covering a lot of the local sports. All right, so what's the prediction, my brother?
Well, I haven't made the prediction in the Palm Beach Post, but I'm going to go with the Dolphins. So I think that there's no reason the Dolphins can't win this game. I think the tide has turned in the AFC East. I like the Dolphins facing a rookie quarterback. So I'll give you 23-21, Jason Sanders 48-yard field goal to win it at the buzzer.
There you go. All right, Joe, we'll talk to you on Sunday, my brother, as we get ready for that matchup. Appreciate you as always here. Thank you for giving us some time. Enjoy your day, my friend.
Thank you, Big O.
You got it. There you go. The great Joe Shad. It is the American Dream Lending Miami Dolphins weekly report.
When you're ready to purchase a new home or refinance the one you have, American Dream Lending will make sure your loan experience is easy with fast approvals and quick closings. With many loan programs and competitive rates, now is the time to turn your dreams into reality. Ask about special financing for veterans. They never charge an application fee, and you will work directly with one of their experienced loan professionals. Stop dreaming and contact American Dream Lending today. 786-802-1727 or online at adreamlending.com.
All righty. Welcome back. Appreciate you all out there. I like it. Joe's picking them to win, and he has a lot of the same thinking I do. I'm looking at a rookie quarterback. I think Tua right now has had NFL experience, has played against NFL game speed already, has faced the Patriots. So we're talking about a kid that already is coming in with some experience already, adjusted to it. I don't think that Mac Jones or any quarterback, Trey Lance, or you name any of the young guys that are coming into the league this year, Trevor Lawrence, you name it, they're going to have to go through some growing pains. And listen, I'm not telling you that Tua is going to go out there and he's going to be absolutely perfect, but I just feel that Tua right now is better suited for what's coming at him compared to the young guys that are coming in at this league, because they've really never faced game speed. Now, I will say, a lot of the young guys had the advantage that the class from last year did not have, which is a real training camp and preseason, actual game-like conditions to play against. So that helped, but you still are a rookie. And that is still going to be a brutal challenge for the Miami, for any young quarterback. And so I think that the Dolphins going up against Mac Jones is a slight edge over the Patriots going up against Tua. Plus, I also think the Dolphins have the superior secondary. Okay. Now, I will ask you all this too. Let's follow this up. And since we have 217 people right now on the chat board, and thank you all for tuning in, and please smash the hell out of the like button. It is the most important thing you'll do for us, is smashing that like button. It gets the algorithm going. It exposes the show to more people out there. So please, let's get that the like buttons smashed. It's very, very important. I want to ask all of you out there, who is going to be the most impactful rookie in your eyes this season? And I know Joe was talking about Jalen Waddle, because Phillips is third team and Holland is second team. And listen, for all of you out there, You might have Robert Jones as the most impactful player because they liked him as an offensive lineman, as a street free agent. They kept him. I've told you many times, all 5 of them aren't going to hit on the line. Somebody's going to fail. Will Robert Jones get an opportunity and shock the world and become a really good player as a free agent? Will Liam Eichenberg at one point take over and become the guy? Hunter Long, does he get healthy and then all of a sudden leapfrog Shaheen and get some playing time and start, shocking the world? Obviously Jalen Phillips, obviously Jalen Waddle. But I got to tell you that for me, and I'll give you my opinion on it, I think Javon Holland is going to be the most impactful rookie. I love Jalen Waddle, but there's a whole bunch of other receivers. So he's got to kind of share the time with them. I love Jalen Phillips, right? But he's still a rookie. I don't know if his technique is ready at this level. I certainly know this for Jalen Phillips, just like 99.999% of rookies that come into the league, I can bet your ass, I'll bet you anything you want that Jalen Phillips is not strong enough for this league yet. Because every rookie defensive end that comes in, those guys aren't ever strong enough for this league. So there's going to be some adjustment. Liam Eichenberg, I think eventually he'll get that job at right tackle, but he's the only one that has to wait for a seasoned veteran to kind of give him the job. And Jesse Davis is a lunch pail guy, and he's probably going to do everything in his power to keep that job as long as he can. So that will limit when Eichenberg can finally step in full time and become that guy. Now, at the offensive line, Robert Jones is not one of those guys that I can pick right now because I don't know enough about the kid. But for me, Javon Holland, I think he will take over the starting job within this first month. The ball hawking attitude that he brings to the table, I think, is going to be the ultimate difference maker. I also believe that Javon Holland has to only cover 2/3 of the field because you've got X on one side. So X is kind of on an island and shutting it down. So the safeties on the Miami Dolphins should actually have an easier job than your average safety. If you're not dealing with 2 elite corners, then your attention really worries about the entire field. But when you've got X on one side, you could kind of worry about the middle of the field and the other side. And that's where I think Javon Holland, he will have less of the field to cover, more of the opportunities to take advantage of. And obviously it's going to be imperative that the front 7 does their job against the run, forcing those pass plays and opportunities. Plus, in a situation like this Sunday, if both tight ends are healthy, and I say if because Hunter Henry is a sack of injuries, you are going to need more than Eric Rowe. And that's where Holland is also going to come in, which is also going to give him opportunities too. Because I don't believe they want to put McCourty on a tight end. I believe they want to put Holland on a tight end because the kid is better situated for it. Javon Holland, for me, is going to end up being the most impactful rookie this season for the Miami Dolphins. I'm not saying that Jalen Waddle's not going to have a good season because I believe he's going to have a good season. I think Phillips will be okay. I'm not putting a ton of expectation on Phillips because I've seen a lot of defensive ends struggle early on in this league, holding the point, hand technique so they can free themselves. There's a lot of learning that goes on with it. Even Jason Taylor wasn't dominating or anything. I want to say in his first 2 years, actually. It's probably year 3 where he really started to blossom. You know, he had his moments in years 1 and 2, but not dominating or anything like that. So I don't want to put a lot of expectation on Jalen because it's a really difficult position. And if you're not technically sound, these tackles will engulf you, man. They will eat you up alive. And that's where I think it'll be. Plus, Jalen's going to play more in space. So not only rushing the passer, not only against the run, but at times when he drops back, he can't get lost in that space too. And so that's something else. That's another transition for him. That's why I like Jalen Phillips, the player. Don't get me wrong. I just think his transition is going to be a little harder than Javon or Jalen Waddle overall. And then obviously Hunter has got all these tight ends that he's dealing with. So, and Flo, he doesn't hand you jack, man. You gotta earn it. And it's going to take a while for Hunter to earn it when you've got all those tight ends there. When Gesicki's a baller and he's playing for a new contract. Adam Shaheen has actually proven to be a really good player overall, an excellent number 2 tight end. And even the Ethan Carter kid has shown a little some. And Smythe will occasionally catch a ball, obviously help out in blocking. So Hunter Long has a really tough ladder to climb and climb over people in order to get the kind of talk that we're saying, okay, the most impactful rookie, Hunter Long, that's really tough. So for me, it's going to be Javon Holland. I really think Javon Holland is the guy that's going to make a quicker transition, a bigger impact right away. And I think he's going to really shore up something that has been a concern, at least in my eyes, for a long, long time, because they haven't really had a baller at free safety that can cover and can do all the things that you need. They have had safeties that have actually struggled in coverage a lot. And that's been a real problem in my eyes for a long, long time. So give me your opinion here. By the way, going around a little roll call, David Triana, congratulations to you, sir. Number 1, baby. You know you're good when you beat Steve Chapman because Chapman's a monster. Chapman was 4th today. Wilter Casada was in 2nd, and then John Rouse in the house. Chapman in. Don't forget, folks, smash the like button, please. NorCal's in. He's waking and bacon. Jamie Zorria's in from San Jose. Thank you, sir. Gus 1388. Jason Figueroa. Samuel Robina asking about the U.S. men's national team. I will definitely get to that because that was a lot of fun yesterday. And I'm going to bring up a conversation I had with Franco Panizzo. And Franco, who is so good at covering soccer and Inter Miami, he freaking nailed it. About a week and a half ago, 2 weeks ago, when he was on the show, he talked a little bit about this. And last night, it was to a T what he was talking about. I kept thinking about him last night while I'm watching the U.S. men's national team, especially in the first half. But the second half also kind of affected what he was talking about. David Norton is in. Rich V, to Extreme. Steven Gonzalez says 3 days away from Dolphins ass whooping. That's right, baby. Jason Figueroa. D-line needs to show up and make Jones feel it, baby. Welcome to the NFL. I agree with you, Jason. Jay Gelfin, happy Thursday, he says to everybody out there. And grateful for our friendship for over 30 years. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Jay. Premier Reviewer is in. Omar Lopez, that song. Big O, un abrazo, mi hermano, he says. Jeffrey's Corner in. I love the short clips you post on your YouTube page. Well, thank you, sir. That is Bill Preston working hard, helping us build up the video library. We've done the audio very well. Now we've got to do the video side and build that thing up in a big time way. But thank you, sir. Brooklyn Rob is in. Brooklyn, I gotta tell you, I'm very disappointed with Stellar. They got to pick it up, bro. They got to pick it up. Scott Norman, McCorkey Jones shouldn't be a problem. I just hope OTs aren't atrocious. Fins up. I'm with you, Scott. McCorkey Jones. I like that. Too Extreme says, Big O, I couldn't disagree more that with Alan's take and thought was yesterday, really something on how low respect some of our local guys think of our team. Well, Too Extreme, if you heard my opening segment on the show, I answered all of that, I think, and explained it thoroughly. And I think that's what's going on. I'm not perfect. I don't know everything, but I kind of think that's what's going on, my friend. Martina Davis is in, says, you're so right, Orlando. The Dolphins have earned respect yet. We haven't won anything yet, but it's coming. That's right. And she corrected, said, haven't earned respect. Yes. I understand what you were trying to say, Martina. Jason Figueroa, if we beat Buffalo, we will earn the respect. No, that's not true, Jason. I disagree with that because, of course, you beat them, you're going to get respect. That's the obvious. Actually, people will overreact after that, is what's going to happen. But let me tell you something. Okay, look, we're all Dolphin fans here, okay? A lot of us are Dolphin fans here. We love the Aqua and Orange. Got it? Great. Fantastic. Let's be honest now, okay? Because we like doing that on this show. We call it like we see it. Buffalo's the better team right now. That's hands down. It's not up for any kind of discussion. Buffalo is the better team right now. They should win. Okay? Let's just leave it. That's the truth. They should beat the Dolphins. I think if the Dolphins play a really tight game, they get the respect. I really believe that. If you beat the Patriots this week and then you play a really good game against Buffalo, even losing, I think you get the respect. Obviously, winning, forget it. You're going to be a playoff favorite after that. You'll get all the periphery to believe in the Dolphins if they beat the Bills and they're 2-0. Obviously, because it would be a phenomenal 2 weeks for us, right? But I think the Dolphins, they can lose a tight game against the Bills and get a ton of respect from that. It's the game you lose that you walk away going, man, they easily could have won that game. Damn, the Dolphins are really good. They were right there with the Bills. That was a hell of a game. I think that's the other way they can get some respect. Look, I'm not here to blow smoke up anybody's ass. I'm not here to talk about moral victories or any of that bullshit. I'm not talking about that. I'm just being realistic. The Bills are a Super Bowl contender. The Bills are supposed to be challenging the Chiefs to go to the Super Bowl. That's where they're at right now. Miami's not there yet. But I believe it doesn't have to be a win. It could be one hell of a game. And I think that will go a long way to winning a lot of people over, because if you went to Foxborough and beat the Patriots, and now you take on the Bills the following week, which that's a hell of a little run there in the first 2 games of the season, and you play one hell of a game against the Bills, I think the respect starts to flow right in for the Miami Dolphins. And people will start going, oh, wait a minute. You know what? I underestimated this team. Look at Tua. He's played really well. And that's the other thing. If Tua's not part of the reason why you didn't win or anything, Tua balled out, and it was just one of those things that the ball didn't bounce your way. And the Bills, like in that first year that the Bills ended up winning one of the close games against Miami, and Miami had a shot. No, wait a minute. Wasn't it the first game of last year that Miami had a shot, I believe? But it's one of those games where you walked away going, man, Miami could have won this game. So, and that's where Miami isn't where they're at now. You know what I mean? Which they should be better. So I think that there's a chance to even get that respect even in a loss. Not a blowout, but a tight one. New England didn't name Mac Jones a captain. This means he sucks, right? Yeah, I don't follow, I don't go for any of that stuff, man. Listen, man, I'm a Tua guy. I think the kid's going to be a baller. So I'm not worried like other people are. Let's see. Tommy Andriola says his teammates don't trust him, right? Exactly. Ian from Brooklyn in, Rich V, Sid in, Billy Batten in. Let's see. Batson, that is. What else do we have here? Crypto J in. I'm sure he's happy the market is bouncing back a little bit. Lamarlo Shepard says, good morning, Big O. Preach to them. Can't wait to laugh in their face at the end of the year. I mean, it's just one of those things. They don't believe that the Dolphins are turning the corner. Tommy Andriola says, so tell me why the Chargers are getting so much respect. I don't know, my brother. I have no idea. They had no solid wins last year at all. I have no idea why. It's, I guess, because Herbert had such a good year, and and offense is what sells, and defense doesn't. I don't know. All I worry about is the Dolphins, my man, and I don't worry about others getting respect. Screw the Chargers and everybody else. I'll worry about what the Aqua and Orange do on Sunday. Wayne Cox says, no one will give a damn who the captain is at 425 on Sunday. Wins and losses are all that matters. Amen, Wayne. Amen. NorCal says only 42 likes. No, there's got to be more. Let me refresh here. It's got to be more than that by now, right? Yeah, we're at 120. But we have 244 watching. Come on, man. There's 124 of you right now that have not hit that like button. Please hit that like button. Very important. If you want us to grow and continue to grow, yeah, visit our sponsors. If you're a sponsor, join us. Make a Cash App or Venmo donation at Cash Big O Show. But if you can't do any of those things, smashing the like button is an enormous service that you will give for us. So thank you very much, those of you out there. Appreciate you. Bones in, Dolphin Don, Wayne L., Willie Molina, Big O Olividati. I feel the spirit of Shula brewing and recreating with his old school ways. Yeah, but what'd you bring up Olividati? That's like a nightmare, bro. Broward Bravado. What's up, Big O? Dropping in. I like it. Thank you, sir. Richard McLean in. Says, very concerning. Do you think they'll be forced to play two blocking tight ends because of the O-line? We'll see, Richard. They don't know that yet. The line could end up like coming together and doing a decent job on Sunday, and then they could struggle. It's so unpredictable right now. The Big Bear says, Big O, do you like Tampa Bay minus 9.5 over the 51.5 tonight? I like Tampa Bay to win for sure. 10 points plus. I'll take Tampa Bay. The over. Yeah, I like the over because I think Dallas is going to be playing catch up. So yes, I think there's going to be some points on the board. Dallas has a good offense, so they should be able to score some points. But they're going to make some mistakes, and I think Tampa will capitalize on it. Stefano says, Big O, being in the industry as long as you have, shouldn't a beat writer or a sports personality for a city be a diehard fan of the team? I'm 100% sure Alan Poupart doesn't care about our Finns. Stefano, none of that matters, my brother. You're supposed to be objective. Being a fan, you can't be a writer, my brother. Once you say fan, you don't belong in the media. If you're going to cover anything like a fan, get the fuck out of the media. Are we good? Do we understand each other on that one? Okay? You got to call it like you see it, man. The fan stuff are for fan sites. If you're going to be a real media member, you got to have the balls to call out the team if they deserve to be called out. And if they're struggling and if they're not doing it right. Nobody's more hardcore than I am about the Dolphins. No one. Okay? And you can ask plenty of people that followed me. I ripped the shit out of the Dolphins for many years. Tore their ass apart. You think I'm supposed to sit here with freaking pom-poms for Cam Cameron while we're going 1-15? Hell no, dude. You think I'm going to be rest in peace, Tony. I know you're a good dude. Every time he celebrated a field goal, I wanted to punch my TV screen. So, no, dude. We don't need fans in the media. What we need is objective people in the media. What we don't need is fans, or we don't need people with negative agendas that they're just spinning everything negative. If it's bad, call it like it is. If they're not good, call it like it is. But when they are good, call it like it is. When they're doing something right, call it like it is. But when they're doing something wrong, dude, I'm not here to make your ass happy about the Dolphins all the time. I'm not here to make your ass happy about the Canes or the Miami Heat. As much as I love Pat Riley and will defend him till the day I die, if he does something wrong and he signs James Johnson to a long-ass contract or Whiteside, I got to call it like I see it. It is what it is. I like the Heat team this season because maybe they have a one-year window in a way. I don't like the back end of these contracts. All these guys getting older, and I don't like it. So I'm not here to blow smoke up the Heat fans' ass to make you feel good about your team every single moment and spin everything positive. So no, dude. No fans in the media. Fans are fanatical. That's why you're fans. Fans are irrational. That's why you're fans. It's what it is. So you have no objectivity. I mean, I had Dolph fans that would get pissed at me. Do you know that, Stefano, clearly you haven't followed me for a long time. The second they hired Joe Philbin, I told everybody it's a terrible hire. At no point was I ever on the Joe Philbin bandwagon. I never even gave him a chance. You know why? Because I know several people in Green Bay. And people in Green Bay were telling me in the building, they hired the wrong guy. They should have at least given Tom Clements the chance because he's the quarterback's coach. He's the guy that's helped develop quarterbacks here. And what did we need? We needed somebody that knows quarterbacks, right? They brought in Joe Philbin, a guy that was a offensive designer, not play caller, not a real coordinator. No. He just helped design the game plan during the week. McCarthy was calling all the plays, not Joe. Yet we hired that guy. So, dude, I'm not here to blow smoke up your ass. I don't want media members like that. If you don't believe that somebody's good, fine. You're going to be wrong or you're going to be right. That's the way it goes. So sometimes there are predictions that you may not like to hear end up becoming real good predictions. It sucks. But the problem is fans, a lot of fans can't handle the truth about their team. Trust me, man. I dealt with it for many, many years because I never bought into a lot of the coaches that we've had here in the past or even general managers. These guys I do. So you're not going to get that from me. If they screw up, I'm going to tell you. Let's see. Stefano says, I listen to you because you're objective and you love this team. That's why you have the following you have. Yeah, and I think over time, I've pissed off certain Dolphin fans that are fanatical and didn't want to hear the truth about Sperano or Cam Cameron or Joe Philbin or Adam Gase or even Dave Wannstedt. They hated to hear the truth, and they thought I was the bad guy. I'm sure some of them now like to listen to me because I believe in these guys. This is the first group I believed in a long, long time. Gase did sucker me after the first year. I did buy into Gase. But by the second year, I was done. It's kind of like Manny. Like I wanted Manny, but by the end of the first year, I looked at it and go, sometimes you're wrong, man. I'm not here to blow smoke up the Canes fans' ass. There's a lot of Canes fans like me. I love the Canes, dude. Just like I love the Dolphins. And I wanted Manny too. But, it gets to a point where you're going to be right about some of your predictions and you're going to be wrong about some of your predictions. And after year one of Manny Diaz, I was like, oh, God, I screwed up. Yeah, I messed up. I messed up just like Blake James did. Blake James thought it was the right guy. So did I. I bought into it. I was drinking the Manny Diaz Kool-Aid, and I screwed up. And we got to admit, man, right? we're going to predict things. We're going to love players. We're going to expect big things from them. And sometimes they let us down and they don't get it done, or coaches or front office executives or team owners, all of these things. I wanted Jorge Mas to buy the baseball team. Derek Jeter and Sherman did. I wasn't a big fan of Derek Jeter, Sherman, and 15 other people being owners of this team. In fact, my disillusion about the Marlins, the new ownership taking over, while I'm rooting for them and I hope for the best, and I do like a lot of the things they've done, I've always worried about having 16 owners. I'm not a fan of that. That actually created a friendship for me. Marcus Lemonis, okay? Good dude. Great dude, actually. Does a lot of really good things for people. And obviously an incredibly successful businessman. And so, he forgot more about business than I'll ever know. But when it comes to sports, I think I hold my own overall. And I am a fan of a man or a woman owning a team. I am a fan of a family owning a team. I am not a fan of 16 people owning a team. And Lemonis was like, hey, how are you so sure that's not going to work? And I go, well, I don't like 16 guys having to own it because I saw it with the Panthers. Viner had several people with him, and that means, you know how we say when you have multiple quarterbacks, you have no quarterback, right? When you have multiple owners like that, you have no owner. And so I saw it with the Panthers that when they needed money and they had to make a call to each other, then they eventually all ran out of money, and they didn't really have the kind of money you needed to be that. And so in comes Vinny Viola, super freaking effing rich. And he has Doug Sifu also, right? But that's it. It's two dudes that are filthy, especially Viola, super rich. Sifu's rich too, but we all know Viola's like the main guy, and he's worth billions. Stephen Ross, the Rooney family, the Mara family. That's what I'm a fan of. Mickey Arison. You know what I mean? I want an owner. One. Jorge Mas. That's it. I don't want any more. And look what's happened so far. We have yet to see them spend money. But I'm not here to blow smoke up the Marlins fans' ass. I love what they've done in redesigning the logo, taking away all the crap they did in that stadium, that stupid thing that was in center field. I love that they've filled up the minor leagues with pitchers. I need you to spend some money, dude. Don't tell me that Sherman's got money and then the 14 other owners. I know Derek Jeter doesn't have the kind of money you need to do that kind of stuff. But the other guys, do you have it or not? Because I need to see it. I don't see it. And that was my concern. And Lemonis and I developed a relationship from that. Because I'm not a fan of that. Now, hardcore Marlins fans were probably pissed at me. Because you're fanatical. You don't take the time to sit back and actually think about it. All you care about is root for your team, no matter what. The coach could be shitty, the manager could be shitty, whatever it is, but you still think they're going to win 12 games. That's it. That's what happens all the time with some Dolphins. No matter what, if you don't tell them they're going to the playoffs and they're going to win 12 games, they think you're a hater. No, we're just calling it like we see it. So the worst thing you can have in the media is a fan. Just like the worst thing you can have in the media is some effing sourpuss that just wants to write negativity, and everything is spun for clickbait purposes. You know who those kind of people are. Those stand out a lot because they have a clear agenda. Fans, they don't belong anywhere in the media. That's the truth. Big O, with all due respect, Greek's job not secure until 2020 draft plays out because of top 3 picks. Huh? Greek's job not in Are you talking about, oh, you're talking about Greer, right? Not Greeks? Is that what you're saying, bro? I guess you're saying it because of Tua, Jalen, and Phillips. Is that what you're? I'm not sure. I'm guessing off of that. Green strengths is finding diamonds in the rough. Green. Okay, now you like not you don't know his name, or are we talking about something else here? It's Greer, sir. Grier, sir. Greer. I mean, if we're going to talk about him, let's talk about him and let's get it right here. Hope Greer can find another Jesse Davis. Diamonds in the rough, like X, you mean? In the second round? I think his strength overall is building a football team, sir. Look what he's done in 2 years. I don't know. I think he's done a pretty damn good job. Dougie Fresh says, oh, perhaps being a professional media member is like being Tanner from Bad News Bears. You will have everyone back on the team, but also not afraid to Buttermaker. He's a drunk. Exactly. Yes, it is kind of like Tanner. Tanner, not all the time, because there were plenty of times that Tanner got a little out of line, but there was some times that Tanner was honest. Yes. Yes. Danny Yoga says, I used to buy and sell racehorses, and I found partnerships are like marriages and usually end ugly. Yeah, and that's where that's the only thing I question about that Marlins ownership group. When I saw it's like 15 people, I was like, yeah, I'm not a big fan of that. I'm not a fan of 15 people having a say on what's going on. I'm not a fan of you got to go to 15 people to make a money call. Yeah, I'm not a fan of that. I like the one man or woman that or family that can just write the check and you never have to worry about it. You know what I mean? I just think it's the best way to run a sports organization. Business, I don't know about, whatever. I'm not an expert in that area, but in sports, that's my experience. Those are the best owners. Not a conglomerate of people that get together. Big O, just know I appreciate you, and this entire fan base would be hindered by losing you as a superstar athlete. Much love as always, and thank you for your rants. Thank you, Stefan. Appreciate you, man. That's very kind of you to say that. Hey, man, listen, I'm going to piss you off at times too. You may not like what I got to say. You know what I mean? It doesn't come from any bad place in my heart or anything like that. But if I tell you I don't like a player or a move or a coach or whatever, it's because I don't think it's going to work. Now, does that mean I'm going to be right? No. And when I'm not, I'm the first guy to tell you, I screwed up, dude. I didn't get that one. I messed up. It's what it is. It's sports. We're not going to get everything right. We're gonna discuss it. We're gonna argue. We're gonna go back and forth. And there are times some of you are gonna be right and some of you are gonna be wrong. That's all. And maybe sometimes a situation we didn't like turns out to be a great situation. We don't know. Maybe Jeter and Sherman have the right. They do have the right plan. That I can tell you. I like their plan. I just need you to close the deal now. If you're going to be another Tampa Bay and Oakland, I'm not a fan of that. I'm not a fan of ruining great scouting with no bank account. Not in baseball, dude. Sorry. Just not a fan of that. And you know what's a great example? Sandy effing Alcantara yesterday. That sumbitch goes 9 innings, allows 4 effing hits, 1 earned run, 14 Ks, and he doesn't get the win, dude. They have to go to extra innings to win 2-1. That's embarrassing, dude. And this happens all effing year long. And why? Because you don't spend any money. And yeah, you got some pitchers. Dude, help him out, please. You know, this is a team that could be a playoff team next year. You do know that, right? I'm dead serious about this. The Marlins could be a playoff team if you add a few bats next year. Now, will they buy 2 or 3 bats? Probably need about 3. To go along with some of the young guys that are finally developing. But would they spend an extra $80 million now to go get, 3 badass bats? That's the problem. And if you're not willing to do that, and you're just trying to be the 03 Marlins or the Royals from a few years ago, and you're just trying to catch lightning in a bottle, so you're just going to keep drafting, and you hope one year all the young guys come up enough that they develop enough that you only need 1 or 2 sprinkle-in veterans to kind of get over the top. Now you're asking for the stars to align, the ducks to align, everything to fall in place, and it's just too much. So we will stay doing what we've done for 31 years now, and we will continue to be as objective as possible. Not perfect, far from it. Our number 2. Let's get to it right about now.
If you're a Miami sports fan, then there's only one store to go to, and that's Caneswear at Miami Fanwear in Davie. They're your one-stop shop for all your inner Miami CF, Canes, Dolphins, Panthers, and Marlins merchandise. They have hats, t-shirts, game day jerseys, and so much more. Located at 2511 South University Drive in Davie, and open 24/7 online at caneswear.com or innermiamiwear.com. Call them at 954-835-5597. Caneswear, the spot where inner Miami and all Miami sports fans shop.
It's a beautiful thing. Hour number 2. Don't forget, smash the hell out of that like button, folks. Love it. We're up to 176. Let's get over 200. Let's do it. We got over 243 watching right now. And thank you all out there, man, for watching and giving us the love and dedicate it, man. Adrian Gonzalez says, what? You don't like J-Lo and John Cicada as part owners? I always loved the J-Lo Serena thing as part owners. I don't know if you guys know this, but I had the best plan for the stadium roof, because when you had that orange carpet, you had Serena and J-Lo as owners, right? Part owners, whatever. I always said you put both asses together above the stadium. 1, you'll get the shade, right? 2, you'll have the sexiest roof in the world, right? And it'll be legendary. You have 2 giant culos covering the stadium. I mean, between J-Lo and Serena, you can cover that stadium up. There'll be guys just waiting for the rain to roll off. So I'm not opposed to J-Lo and Serena. Just want you to know that. It's a hot roof right there, dude. You know how many people are going to try to scale that roof? You know, you see those guys that are crazy and they're all of a sudden scaling high rises, and then you got the cops waiting for them at the top. So once they get there, which those guys are just absolutely nuts. Think about this. Think about the people that are going to try to scale Hard Rock Stadium. Lots of people. You're going to catch A-Rod trying to scale that stadium. J-Lo, I want you back. I want you back. A-Rod climbs to the top of the ass. J-Lo farts. Just kicks him off the stadium. That's all. It's over. That's it, A-Rod. Get lost. David Triana says the Marlins have always had the issue of their pitching and hitting never being on the same page. Either we have to score 10 runs or give up no more than 1 or 2 runs. We need threats in the lineup. Yeah, they do. New York City Sports says, Big O, huge fan. I love that you keep it real and not afraid to speak your mind. Local radio in New York sucks. The hosts are scared to say anything because they're in bed with the local teams. Well, that's the radio nowadays, man. Nowadays, we have these wussy-ass program directors, and we've gotten to this point where we're so touchy about everything. And so these teams, They want their partners to be, wearing the pom-poms. And that's something that I never went with. Yeah, I'm going to root for my Dolphins and my Marlins and my Heat and my Panthers and my Canes and my Inter, but I'm also going to call it like I see it. And you don't like it? Too bad, bro. That's I'm not going to change the way I am, and I think the average listener appreciates the honesty. Not everybody, but I think the average person appreciates it. And that's why that's a battle that I've been, oh God, I was at it for many, many years, my friend. What are you going to do? You've always kept it real, Big O. That's why I'm a loyal listener. Thank you, Lenny. I appreciate you, man. Eric Rivetta says, part owners, 1% of what that's season ticket and free beers. Hey, I'll take it. And Lenny says, two giant culos. You killed me with that one. Would kill all of us. I mean, it would be a treat to go to the stadium that way. Be fantastic. Hottest roof in the world. The 09 season when Hanley won the batting title and we had Reyes, Stanton, and those guys just didn't work. Well, my brother, what doesn't work is having that pig as an owner is really what doesn't work. Having Loria, that pig in this town, that's what never worked. Ninja Nation says, classic skit. Oh, I'm stealing it. Enjoy it, my brother. It's all yours. Squeeze it like Charmin. Just found you through another Dolphin page. Love your style, Dolphins fan since 71, living in Texas, and Cowboy hater, fins up. Bradley Maddox. There you go, Bradley. Thank you, sir. And that's all of you. You found Bradley Maddox. Thank you. I got goosebumps. I shit you not. I got goosebumps because every time you guys hit the like button, you have no idea what you're doing to the show. You're helping us. You know what I mean? You don't realize. You think I'm joking around when I tell you, it's silliness. And I know it takes no effort to hit the like button. But I'm telling you, you hit the like button, it goes farther and it gets to other people, and we can grow and we can expand this thing. So please subscribe, smash the like button, hit the notification bell, so that way you know when the show is live, when we add segments, maybe like later on we'll add the Joe Shad interview separate from the show. Then maybe you missed the Joe Shad interview. Like some guy reached out to me this morning and said, hey, can you ask Alan Poupart this? And I said, well, Alan Poupart was on yesterday. And I go, well, you need to subscribe, dude. Subscribe, hit the notification bell, subscribe on the podcast, and then that way you'll know when the new segments pop up, when the new show pops up, all that stuff. Big O, do you have a chance to check out? Oh, I did not. I got to do that, dude. Theocracy. I will definitely check them out, Jamie. My bad. I forgot to do that yesterday when I was with the wife. Don Parlamento says, hey, I'm late. You are never late, sir. This is a digital world. You get to listen when you want. That's the beauty of this show. If you catch us live, I love you for it. Thank you. If you catch us after, in the afternoon, in the evening, in the middle of the night, I can't appreciate you more. Doesn't matter when you listen. That's the beauty. It doesn't have to be live. You don't have to be here as long as you're here at one point or another. And thank you for that. I appreciate you. Plus, Don, I know you've been incredibly loyal for many, many years now. Thank you, sir. Let's see. Big O, I became a loyal listener the day you went off about Tannehill and Mike Tannenbaum being an accountant, not a football guy. I'll never, ever forget that take. Well, thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Mike Tannenbaum, nice man. Just do not agree at all with his philosophy on how to build a football team, so I was not a fan of it. And GP Trap says, welcome, Brad. That's right. Welcome to the family, all of you out there. Patrick Saramago says, same here, Big O. Very new to the show, but now you are in my rotation, and I try to watch live when I can. And that's all of you out there. You're doing it. You're doing it, man. NorCal, just to let you know, if you hit the like button, you'll get free views of the Kulo roof. Somebody make a GIF of the Kulo roof. How would it look at Hard Rock Stadium? We need that. Lenny Pena says, I don't know what it is, but I have a feeling that Jalen Waddle is going to have a huge Sunday. Offensive Player of the Week. You know, Lenny, I'm with you. I think Jalen is also going to have a nice game this week. I'm with you there on that. Remember, Fuller's out, and I think you'll use Jakeem Moore as a decoy, and you know you've got all the other guys, whether it's Parker. And let me tell you something. I don't believe Preston Williams is really injured that seriously or anything like that. And I have no information on this. I think Preston Williams is healthy. I just think they've been slow walking this thing the whole time. I think they've been taking it nice and easy on the kid because of what happened last year. And I think he's going to be ready to go. I really do. I know he was limited yesterday with Liam Eichenberg. Eichenberg with the thigh, Preston Williams with the foot, but that's the surgery. I think they've been pacing this young man, and they don't want to overwork him, and they want to just get him to the regular season, and I think then they're going to unleash the Kraken at that time. I would not be surprised to see Preston Williams also contribute to this team on Sunday. And listen, that is one of the players that I am most excited about is Preston, because if somehow or another this young man can avoid the bad luck he's had the first 2 years, sky's the limit for him, man. It really is. He's got so much ability. I really love Preston Williams, but I'm with you. I think Jalen Waddle is going to be an incredibly effective player for the Dolphins, and the secondary for the Patriots is hurting right now. They're missing their best corner. I don't think they have a great secondary. And I think that's where I know that you need the running game to go, but I think that Gaskin and Ahmed are going to cause a lot of problems as receivers. I think Gesicki's going to have a nice game in the middle of the field, and I think the receivers are going to make some plays. I think Tua's going to be all right. I think they're going to move the pocket around with Tua. I think they're going to roll them out in different ways. I think they're going to change the launch point at times. And because Tua is a crafty dude, I think also that's going to help him make plays back there. I don't think they're going to have him drop back 3-5 steps every single time and sit on the same spot all the time. I think these guys are creative enough. Plus, Tua is good at throwing on the run and repositioning himself and throwing. So I really feel that the passing game is actually going to be the biggest part of the offense this week. And I'm with you. Jalen Waddle is definitely a guy that can have a big-time week. I like that a lot. Let's see. Eddie Rivera says, pass it on to another Fins fan who lives in Miami. We both Fins fans since first Greasy. I like it. With Nail 66 says, Big O, great show. I live in Boston. I'm so sick of how many pundits are saying how great Mac Jones is. The kid is yet to play a pro game. Go Fins. Scott in Boston. Thank you, Scotty. Appreciate you out there in Boston. David Triana says, Ryder Cup in a couple of weeks. Going to be a good weekend with that and watching the Dolphins. Rivera says, Tannenbaum, another clown. What was Ross thinking? Well, that's the good thing about what Ross has done now. Ross gets out of the way now and allows the football people to make the football decisions. That's what you like about it. Dolphin Don says, thank you. Oh, now Kulo Roof is in my permanent vernacular. There you go. Kulo Roof is hot and sexy, bro. Giovanni Folk says, I like the button 45. All right. There you go. Tremolio, my dad's 40-yard seats at the OB for every Fins game were tremendous. We dropped our tickets when the Mafia High Pinga trash man bought the team. We watched from home. You know what, man? I am not a hater of Huizenga. I love Wayne Huizenga. I think Wayne Huizenga was phenomenal as a sports owner. Now think about this, okay? It sucks to push Shula out. That part sucked, and in hindsight, and we don't know if Shula ever would have gotten back on track with the salary cap and all that. That was a different monster he had to learn in those days, and they were already in salary cap hell a couple of years in because Jimmy Johnson inherited and had to clean it up. But let me build on a little bit about what you're talking about with Wayne as a sports owner. Okay, I don't know about anything else that you may have against him. I'm just going to go as a sports owner. Every one of us thought that Jimmy Johnson was the right move, right? We were all enthralled with what he did in Dallas, and then obviously we're Canes fans, and he won a championship here, and he left Dennis Erickson a boatload of talent that he was able to win 2 of 3 titles with. So we had an affinity to Jimmy Johnson. Plus, we saw what he did in Dallas, proving that what he did in college, he can then translate it over. But again, the cap was in place for Miami, not Dallas. So by the time Jimmy took over, it was another monster that he had to face, and he could not overcome it. But we thought that was the right move. We then also thought Saban was the right move. Let's not kid ourselves. Everybody wanted Saban. Saban kept turning down the NFL. Finally, he wins a championship in LSU. So he accomplishes that. Now it's the next level. Let me try to win one in the NFL. So Wayne is the guy that then convinced him. So he comes. Didn't work out. He left. Not going to be the Alabama coach. We got you already. He's gone. But it was the best candidate available, and Wayne got him. And then Parcells. And listen, little did we know that really Parcells wasn't really committed and was just going to hang out with his fat ass in Saratoga, just making bets and not doing anything and sticking us with Jeff Ireland and Tony Sperano and all that crap, right? So, but we all thought that was going to be a good move, right? Bringing Parcells. Culture change, all that stuff, never happened. The man brings baseball. The man spends a boatload of money to win a championship in 97. Sucks that he did the fire sale and all that. But the Dombrowski fire sale produced the 03 championship. Not Jeffrey pig-ass, disgusting individual Loria. It was all him. He's the one that got Josh Beckett and A.J. Burnett. He's the one that got Mike Lowell and Derek Lee and Luis Castillo and Cabrera and everybody else. The heart and soul of that entire team, it was them. Yeah, Loria and garbage. Yeah, they got Pudge and they got Urbina and they got Redmond. Okay, and Pierre. Yes, they added a couple of pieces. But really, the heart and soul of it came all from Huizenga and Dombrowski. Dombrowski really won that second championship. And then he brings us hockey also. And we had the Stanley Cup run, which was a lot of fun. Didn't win it. As an owner, the man tried. His hockey team got to a Stanley Cup. His baseball team won a World Series and set the team up for another future World Series title. In football, the one sport that he loved the most and the one team he loved the most, he couldn't get it over the top. But it wasn't from a lack of trying. So when I look at other owners that we've had in town, and then I look at Wayne Huizenga, there is no way in the world I could ever be unappreciative of what Wayne Huizenga brought to the table as an owner. So I'm not one of those guys that is out there to bash Wayne. Was he perfect? No. Was the fire sale something that I was looking forward to? No. Did his lack of dedication to all of that sometimes hurt maybe in the long run? Yes. But he still established what we have now. He brought us the hockey team. He brought us the baseball team. And Lord knows he tried to bring every big name coach here, or big name period, because Parcells wasn't a big name coach at that time. He was just a big name. And it just didn't work out. That's it. But I'm not the guy that's going to slam Wayne, man. I thought he did his best. He tried. And sometimes you try and it doesn't work out. But at least you're trying. And that in itself, I can never blame anybody for trying. Sometimes it's not going to work out for you, Marv Levy is a fantastic football coach, a Hall of Famer, one of the great ones of all time. Nobody ever talks about him because he didn't win one of those 4 Super Bowls. But it wasn't really his fault. The man tried. His team was put in position all the time. And in one of them, his kicker ended up effing it up. And fat-ass Parcells benefited from it. So I got to give people some credit for trying. I have to. We all have to understand that sometimes the ball's not going to roll your way, and it did in baseball. In hockey, for a short time, it did. He didn't win it, but he had success. And in football, it just never worked out, and it was part of our hell that we were in for 20 plus years. So I'm not the guy that's going to bash Wayne, man. I can't. Let's see. Eric, I agree, but I think he left because Ross was too involved in football operations. What are you talking about, Big O? Do you think Parcells coming to Miami, then leaving so soon, was because Ross was interfering with football operations? No. I just think Parcells was a lazy ass that was just collecting money and he wasn't really trying. He came for the check, dude, like a lot of free agents did back in the day. A lot of people that took Miami's money and during the stretches of from Wanstead all the way through Gase. A lot of these free agents, they came to hang out and get their check, man. They knew they weren't going to win. Those players that signed here, Mike Wallace, whatever, Ndamukong Suh knew he wasn't winning here. He didn't care, dude. He cared about the money. That's all he cared about. Lenny says, Wayne was an amazing owner. As South Floridians, we should be very appreciative. Tremoli says, I'm sorry, Huizinga blocked the Marlins trade to bikes that would have been like her walk. What? Oh, if Wayne allows the Vikes trade for Marino, they load hard for 20 years like Greer. You don't know that. We don't know. We don't know if Wayne allows the trade from Marino to the Vikings. We don't know what happens from there. The picks may not have made a difference. You don't know that. None of us know that. We all thought we were going to be special like Jimmy's quote, but he was burnt out and left you a decent defense, but destroyed Marino in the offense. Amen to that. Brooklyn Rob says, Flo is playing stuff so tight to the chest. Amazing. When practices were open to the public, everyone was limited. Now practices are closed and everyone's healthy. Yeah, I just think I think that's what he's doing, man. I think he's just slow walking some of this. Eric Rivera says, great show, Big O. Just passed it on to others. Thank you, sir. Thank you, Eric. I appreciate it. Alexander News Show says, Big O, I have Waddle as my starter in my team for fantasy football. I like it. I like it. Very nice. Alex Rosales has Miami 24, New England 13. Count on it. We're so focused on Tua, but Miami's defense will have a field day on Sunday. I do like Miami's secondary against the young quarterback. I'm with you there, man. I am definitely with you on that one. All right, remember, you can reach out to us on email, bigoradioshow@yahoo.com. The Twitter page, Big O Show. Follow us there, as always. Great place to find out about guests coming up, appearances. And remember, we're going to be tomorrow, we're at Craig's Inn, Acura, Pembroke Pines. Okay? And then Sunday, we're at Sports Grill in Miami Lakes. How about that? So we're right off of the I-75 highway, just off of I-75 in Miami Lakes, and then just off of I-75 over on Pembroke Pines. So come on out. 2 appearances. We've got 3 appearances in the next week, actually. Tomorrow, Craig's Inn Acura. Sunday, Sports Grill, Miami Lakes. Wednesday, Caneswear. I'm sorry, Friday, Caneswear. So, and next 8 days. Sorry, said week. Next 8 days. Next Friday, we'll be at Caneswear in Davie. So, there you go. Plenty of places to come by and say hi. Would love to meet you all out there. We could take a picture, all that good stuff, like we normally do. Big O, just watched your take from yesterday on why the Finns will win. Thank you for taking the bad taste out of the national media out of my mouth. Yeah, just stop listening to the national media, my brother. T from the D, that's Detroit, loving the Dolphins prediction. And give me the Kulo roof. Also up here watching Mike, you're talking about Campbell doing his same old shtick. It's getting old fast. And Terrence, if he doesn't win, all that rah bullshit goes out the door. That's my problem with Dan Campbell. I look at Dan Campbell and I hate to stereotype, but I kind of see the tough guy trying to win with the motivational rah bullshit. And in the NFL, it's about intelligence. It's about outwitting your opponent. It's about putting players in positions to be successful. In fact, in football, in pro football, the cerebral side is much more important than the goon side of it. And I think there's too much goon in the way I see that guy handle everything. When he was the interim coach with the Dolphins, and I know they won the first 2 games and all that BS, but when I started seeing all the rah crap and the Oklahoma drill and all, I just knew this was headed in the wrong direction. You're going up against Sean Payton, and you're going up against Bill Belichick. You're going up against people that are cerebral. Yeah. They're going to throw their F-bombs, and they're going to motivate the hell out of people, and they're going to get pissed off, and they're going to break chairs, and they're going to slap boards, and they're going to do all the things that pissed off coaches do. Great. But when it comes down to it, they're going to out-scheme you, they're going to outthink you, they're going to be playing chess, and you're playing checkers. And that's what I see in Dan Campbell. I see a guy that plays checkers. I don't see a guy that's going to stand there toe-to-toe and outthink Bruce Arians. You get my drift? And that's my problem. So when you look at Kyle Shanahan and you're going up against him, well, he's designing offenses and schemes and all that kind of stuff, and he's trying to put his players in position to be successful. The rah stuff runs out of gas right away. It's about, Coach, are you helping us win? I'm buying. You're not helping us win? I'm not buying. You're not helping me reach my incentives? I'm not buying. You're helping me reach my incentives? I'm buying. So this will be solved very easily and quickly with Dan Campbell. If he doesn't win immediately, trust me, this kind of coach loses his team in weeks. Not years, in weeks. We shall see. That to me is, I just looked at it like a big joke, because that's kind of what I look at Dan Campbell, and he's a caricature, is what he is. I have a hard time taking him serious. He's going to have to convince me that I can take him serious. That's the way I look at it. Big O, I don't understand why all of the national media is tearing Tua up like crap while making Mac Jones the second coming of Brady. Mac Jones wasn't made team captain either. Mike, you need to rewind the YouTube and go to the beginning of the show, the first segment there. First couple of 10 minutes, I answer all of that. I already addressed it ahead of time because I've gotten plenty of emails and texts and DMs and all that kind of stuff about this, and I wanted to address it today. So it is there. I already addressed it. Trust me. You'll feel a little better once you're done listening to that part. Got Tua as my starter in my fantasy team. Name Samoan Sniper. Samoan Sniper. I like it. Nice job by you, Sean Kelly. Samoan Sniper. Michael Bustamante says, Sean, I got the team as mine fantasy. Okay. And NorCal says, I think the new head coach for the Jets will fail. Well, we're going to find out, right? We're going to find out with that. Let's see. Tremolio says JJ was set to trade Marino to the Vikings for many picks and players that was set to trade those 2 number 1s and 2 number 2s to the Colts for the first pick in 98 Manning. 18 would have been Benton Aqua with JJ's defense. Maybe not. You're assuming the Colts would have made the trade. We don't know if they would have made the trade. We have no idea. You're assuming way too much on that. And none of that is really concrete. Tua, Waddle, Gaskins, Parker, Gesicki, Wilson, Miami's defense, even the kicker. I got Sanders. That's you got a lot of Dolphins in there, my brother. Oh, aside from the Canes, David Triana says, do you think there's a chance Miami sports could be clicking on all cylinders in the near future, or are there some issues further away from being fixed, certain franchises? Well, let's go over that. Marlins, they're nowhere near winning. If they don't spend any money, they're not going to be relevant. The Panthers are very close. The biggest problem with the Panthers, they have the best team on the planet in their effing division. Not in the conference, not in the other conference. No. In their division. So that's the problem right there. But they can play against Tampa. So they got a shot. They're the closest team to a championship right now, actually. The Florida Panthers. All they got to do is overcome the Tampa Bay Lightning, which isn't easy, of course, but they have played well against them and their goalie, who's absolutely all world. So I would give the Panthers a slight chance there, especially if the night kid really comes through. So Marlins have no shot, and Panthers have a shot. They could be pretty special this year. Inter Miami, I don't think it's a very good team. They're kind of a middle-of-the-pack team on their best day. And they'll be like fighting to maybe get into the bottom of the playoffs, but they're not really an elite club right now. And they've got cap issues over the next couple of years because of the fines. So it's going to be really hard unless they find some young guys that become really special in this league. I don't think so. So Inter Miami and the Marlins are kind of out of the mix right now. Panthers are in the mix. The Miami Heat this year could be clicking on all cylinders. They're very experienced. Now, there are certain factors that have to play in order for them to make a really deep run into the playoffs, but they've got a shot at least this year. In the next couple of years, I kind of see them fading more than climbing because their guys are getting older. And too many of these guys. It's just too long of a season. I have a hard time. But for now, for this season, hell yeah. And let me tell you, if Oladipo can stay healthy, that would really help out. As for the Dolphins, I think the Dolphins are going to be a perennial playoff team from here on out. I really do. I think they've got it together. So to me, hey, listen, I'm the guy that's telling you tune up in 2021, title in 2022. This season, I think, is a season where you get to double digits again. You win 11 games. You get into the playoffs, maybe even win a game in the playoffs and really establish it. And I think people will then respect the Dolphins and give Tua the respect that he has earned at that point. Okay? Because, all right, he hasn't earned it yet. That's fine. Whatever. I'm good with that. But I like this team moving forward, and especially with this coaching staff and that front office. And there's already another great story about how they're managing everything. We'll get to that too. And then the final team would be the Canes. And the Canes, I think, are nowhere near being anything ever again. Until the administration proves to me that they actually want a great coaching staff there, they got no shot. So if you keep trying to do it half-assed with these kind of coaches, I get it, man. I like Manny too. And maybe Manny would have been a steal, but it didn't end up working out that way. At least that's what it's looked like for 2 years. And that's certainly what it looked like this past Saturday against Alabama, where you've made zero progress. So there you go. Dolphins, Panthers, Heat, yes. Everybody else, not yet. Not yet. Let's see. What else do we know? Michael Bustamante says, Big O, am I the only one or everyone outside of the Finns fan base don't know anything about the team? I mean, the fantasy draft, no one knows how talented the Finns are. Well, they don't follow it, dude. And again, unproven. It's what I talked about in the first segment of the show. It's because they're unproven to people. And most people don't follow the Dolphins as closely as you and I have. That's what I talked about in the first segment. We saw the 5-4 finish in year one. Most people forgot that they beat the Patriots and ended the dynasty and knocked their asses out of the bye week. Most people don't even remember that. And then last year, last year's the year that they got on people's maps. Hey, wow, the Dolphins are 10-6. They're all right. Damn. Okay, maybe it's a little flukish. Let's see if they do it again. And that's all it is. All right. Remember, Cash App or Venmo, Cash Big O Show is the address. Cash Big O Show if you want to make a donation to the program. Always appreciate all of you out there for supporting the show. Cap space for the Dolphins. And I've talked a little bit about this, how I feel that one of the reasons why I love what the Dolphins are doing is the front office. And while people don't want to give Tua his respect or Chris Greer his respect or anything along, or the team its respect, I am a big fan of the way Chris Greer has really redesigned this team, restructured this team, rebuilt this team, found a head coach. I love the fact that they try to create deals that don't cripple them in a long-term basis. They try to get out of it. And I think the key to all of this is, and some of you out there, I still laugh at you because you really don't look at it the way you're supposed to look at it, right? Because some of you out there, I would always get this story. Well, Greer's been there for 15, 20 years. He's part of the problem, not the solution. I can't believe they hired him. Meanwhile, they never took his word. He was just filing his reports. He never drafted anybody. He never made any decisions on free agents, on the draft, up until a couple of years ago that they started giving him leeway in the draft. And now, 2 years ago, he now controls everything. The draft, free agency, coaching, you name it. He makes the call on all, right? And I try to explain to people that if they kept him around for 15 or 20 years and every regime change that came, all your reports are on hard drives. They know exactly who wrote this, who wrote that, who liked this player, who didn't like this player. So obviously, Chris Greer must have been giving good advice to every other guy that was there because every guy kept him. So now he takes over, and it looks like he already found his coach. I think Tua this year will prove that he found the quarterback. So he's going to become historic already in Dolphin lore because they've never, ever had a GM that found his own coach and his own quarterback. Think about that. Shula doesn't count because Shula was the coach and the GM. But think about that. Outside, and even Jimmy was the coach and the GM, but Jimmy couldn't find a quarterback. And then everybody else that's followed after, they've never been able to find their own coach and quarterback as a GM. So that he already did that. He cleaned up the cap. Even when he made free agent moves, he was able to get out of them quickly. So now comes the story, and whether you read Barry Jackson or another one nationally, didn't matter, but they have the opportunity of having 70, 80, maybe even more, 90 million they could have, 100 million they could have in cap space next year. And that's why, and think about all the draft picks they've had. And this is why I've told you over and over again, they're not going to be like these enormous players in free agency. They're about drafting preferred, developing their own, and then keeping their own and letting some go and continue with the compensatory picks, which should maybe next year you'll start to, add those kind of things if you start losing players that you drafted or sign in other places. So you have extra picks over the next couple of years. You have a ton of cap space that's going to be opened. So if you need to re-sign Agba because he had another good year this year, if you need to re-sign Gesicki, you can do these kind of things and still have cap space and flexibility, which is why I think the Dolphins this year will kind of establish themselves, get back into the playoffs, and I think next year they make a Super Bowl run because now guys are experienced. They've gone through it now for several years, and they've progressively gotten better in the time. And I think the following year, that's when you make your Super Bowl run, and that's when Greer and Flo look at each other and say, all right, we need to add one or two more pieces. We need this or that. Let's go get it in free agency, and let's end this thing, and let's go get a championship. But I love the fact that they're always forward thinking, and whether it's draft picks, whether it's contracts that are team friendly contracts, it's aggressiveness also in making trades for players. It's trying to steal somebody off somebody else's practice squad. It's trading for an Adam Shaheen because the Chicago Bears have 87 tight ends and they've got to get rid of them. So Miami cherry picks that kid. And yeah, whatever, anti-vaxxer, but the dude can play ball. So you find guys. And that's what I love about this team. They will find undrafted free agents. They will find draftees. They will find free agents. They will find people off your practice squad. They will make trades. They'll find a Seiler off of Baltimore and steal him and make him a player in for you. They will find a Van Ginkel in the 5th round. All of these things, they're showing me that they know how to build a football team. You're starting 2 running backs. One's a 7th rounder, and the other guy's a street free agent. And we all like Gaskins and Ahmed. Now, do we consider them to be the upper echelon of running backs? No, but they're damn good players already. They've got a role. Gaskins can run, can catch. Ahmed looks like he is a danger as a receiver coming out of the backfield. And you didn't spend a lot. Next year, maybe with your cap space, you might go get a free agent. You might draft a running back really high. We'll see. But the story that, coming out, how the Dolphins have a ton of flexibility, think about that, ladies and gentlemen. Think about the fact that you got a shot at winning, let's say, 11 games this year. Let's say you go 11-6 and you make the playoffs. You now have won back-to-back double-digit seasons, 21 wins in the last 2 years. You've had a ton of draft picks. You have more draft picks coming, and you have a ton of cap space. If that's not great management of your team, I don't know what is. Because now you've got the flexibility when you come in at the fork on the road next year. After this season, you get to a fork on the road and you look at each other, and Greer and Flo are sitting down going, all right, what are we? Well, we're a Super Bowl caliber team. All right, we got the money. We got some picks. What do we do? Let's find the players we need. Hey, we need this one lineman. We need this position here. We need this guy here. We need a running back. All right, now we've got the options. We've got money to go buy it. We've got picks to draft it. We've got picks to trade for it. We've got ways of doing it, and we've got cap space. So we're not going into a season where we're going to be favored. We're going to have an opportunity to go deep into the playoffs, possibly the Super Bowl, but we don't have the hurdles of problems off the field, lack of draft picks, lack of money, lack of a game plan. None of that ever lacks. It's awesome. And to me, when I saw that story about all the cap space they can possibly have next year, it's way more than just that, the way they're managing this stuff. And that's why I look at it and I say, This is why I feel good about these guys. For years, I talked to you guys about how it's one stupid contract after another. I remember, when they signed Ndamukong Suh, and again, this is kind of part of it. Some of you were so excited about Suh, the fan, the fanatical one, right? And meanwhile, the second they signed Suh, I said, what? Those of you that follow me, stupid contract, doesn't help. You're not even close to a Super Bowl. Why would you sign Ndamukong Suh? I'm going to sign Ndamukong Suh to shore up my run defense and slightly help out with pass rush because that's not what he is. But that's because I'm an Ndamukong Suh or two players away from a title. You don't do it. And plus, it hurt you re-signing others because of that massive salary. And then when you cut them, it hurts you because it was 2 years of dead money, and it's 19 and 13 million of cap space that you couldn't use. So if you wanted to use that cap space, you would have to then mortgage the future again. That's another thing they're not doing here. There's no mortgaging cap space in the future. F that, dude. The cap space that you have in the future is to use it to get better, not to mortgage it. So that's the reason why when I look at a Joe Philbin, I wasn't on board. I had the information from the Green Bay building. When they signed Ndamukong Suh, I wasn't on board because I knew he wasn't going to change any defense. Because Detroit had years where they sucked and they were good, and they sucked and they were good on defense with Ndamukong Suh. But nobody looks at that because a defensive tackle that isn't Aaron Donald or Warren Sapp, you're not going to make that kind of an impact. And he was never the pass rusher that Donald and Sapp are. Never was, never will be, never is going to be. So why would you sign him to that kind of a contract? It's kind of like watching Inter Miami sign, and I know I'm kind of losing some of you because you don't follow soccer, but when you sign Blaise Matuidi as one of your, international spots, you're an idiot. You're a freaking dumbass. Why would you sign a defensive midfielder for a spot that you only sign people to score goals with those three spots? You don't sign a defender. Stupid contract. Terrible contract. So there you go. So when I see this story about cap space, I'm just incredibly happy that Chris Greer finally got the opportunity. And you and I, Dolphin Nation, those of us that love the Alco and Orange, we're finally going to benefit from this. Finally. After all the mismanagement, you have a guy that gets it and manages it the right way and keeps his team flexible year in and year out to be incredibly competitive. Freaking awesome. That's all I can tell you. Let's see. What are we doing here? Do I see anything here? No. Nope. All right. What do we got here? Yikes. I remember Philbin, a.k.a. Mr. Potato Head conference after a loss. He was so out of his league. You know what I hated about Philbin? He would always congratulate the other team. I felt like punching him right in the face. I swear to God. I swear to you. I felt like going right through the TV screen and knock his ass out. That's right. Every time he was just, it's like, yeah, of course you got to compliment them because you suck. So you're basically making it easy for them. Who would you start tonight for fantasy football? Antonio Brown or Mike Evans? I'm going to go Mike Evans still, man, because Mike Evans is the X factor. He can get behind defenses and catch a bomb. And if he's covered downfield, you can still throw it because he can out-jump people. And he's 6'5", and he makes life easy for everybody. So I'll go Mike Evans, my brother. Okay? I got to do that. Until you see Antonio Brown, no matter what anybody tells you about the offseason that he's had and preseason, and he looks phenomenal, until you actually see him produce on a weekly basis and not be more of a number 3 receiver, I don't think you can start him over Mike Evans. You have to start Mike Evans, bro. Mike Evans is an absolute beast. Absolutely correct, Big O, about Sue. And at that time, you were considered a hater, and now you're a homer. Yep, that's it. I remember getting into it because Joe Rose was all over it, like, oh, this is a great move. And I was like, no, it's not. It's not a great move. It's a stupid move. Stupid salary, stupid move, and had nothing to do with it. And so, and then Joe obviously stirs it up and makes me look like the bad guy, right? Because I'm the bad guy because I have to be brutally honest about it. You know what I mean? And maybe I would have been wrong, but I certainly wasn't. Not perfect, but yeah. Yeah. Richard McLean says, whiffed on Noah so far. His first-round status is the only reason he made the team, but I still have a glimmer of hope. Austin Jackson in the same boat. Richard, it's ridiculous to give up on a player after 1 year who is not playing a position that is natural to him at this point. And that guy got to Auburn as a receiver, and they switched him to corner. So you have to give this young man some time. And to give up on him after the first season is ridiculous. And so it is with Austin Jackson. We have to give these young men some time to develop, man. Give them some time to really fail. Because if you give them enough time to fail, then you'll find out if you can actually succeed. But after 1 year, I mean, that's the same thing they did with Gesicki. I'm not a fan of that. Big O, my draft, fellas, said Marino was still available since I picked mostly Finns. Well, I mean, it's not a bad pick. Later rounds, it's a bargain. Oh, man. I'll never pay $20 million for a DT. Well, you and I will never pay for $20 million for a DT because if we had $20 million, you and I'd be retired, is what we would be. If I had $20 million, would I still do this show? I might still do this show just for the hell of it. A lot less pressure, too. God, I don't have to build up the sponsorships and worry about everything going on. You know what I'm saying? It would be pressured free, that kind of a deal. And as promised, if I had, 10 million, because you and I will split it. Okay, let's do that. You keep 10, I keep 10. I'm definitely going to be close to some beach, and the background's going to be just ocean. You know what I'm saying? That's all. That's what we'll do. I love it. All right, what else do we have here that I wanted to talk about today? I really love that $80 million story. I thought that was just absolutely fantastic. If they're able to cut other players too, it'll go straight up. Let's see, what else do we have here that I wanted to also talk about? Liam Eichenberg was limited yesterday with the thigh. Preston Williams with the foot. You heard what's it called? Joe Shad talk about it today. We don't have access to the coach, so he's not going to address the media. Obviously, the boys are going to practice today. They're going to get access. We'll find out if any of the missing players are still missing or have they shown up. Like I'm talking about Austin Jackson. We don't expect Adam Shaheen, but I thought, see, here's where I misunderstood what Joe said. Because Joe said that the NFL said he failed, where I thought Austin Jackson was contact tracing, not a failed test. That's where I misunderstood, because I've read contact tracing, not failed test with him. So this is confusing to me now because I've seen both. So I don't know what really is going on. I'll tell you this. If Austin Jackson is cleared to play today or tomorrow, then it was contact tracing, and it was because you were in the vicinity. It wasn't because you tested positive. If you test positive, then you're definitely out this week. Vaccinated or unvaccinated. Unvaccinated, you're out 10 days no matter what. But vaccinated, you're definitely gonna miss, the game. There's no doubt in my mind. So we'll see you there. But Preston Williams also foot. I gave you my theory on that. I don't believe Preston Williams is injured. I don't. I think they've just been slow walking it, and I think he's healthy and ready to go on Sunday. And I think they will unleash the Kraken. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe the kid's had setbacks and he's had delays, or he's a slow healer or something along those lines. But I kind of get the feeling that, okay, you've been there, you've done it, you've played with Tua, you practiced with him, all that kind of stuff in the past. You'll be able to get, your chemistry with him going quickly. And I've already I addressed that also on a prior show a couple of weeks ago, that I believe Tua is one of those kind of guys that doesn't need a ton of practice with anybody. I think he's when you have accuracy and ball placement and anticipation already in your skill set, you can adjust to anybody quickly. You don't need a 1,000 reps. You need it if you're Cam Newton, because you need it to be almost like muscle memory in a way. But when you have touch and anticipation and ball placement, forget it, dude. You will adjust to anybody and everybody. It's like I always use the analogy when we all go to the park and we were kids, and there's 3-on-3, 4-on-4, 6-on-6, 7-on-7, whatever. Usually there's only one guy that really can throw the football. And then the second guy is like the second best quarterback out of all the kids there. And then they're the captains, and then they pick their teams, right? And you're like, you're crossing your fingers, every part of your body, maybe not in front of everybody, but in your mind. And you're hoping that you're getting picked by the guy that can actually throw. You know what I'm saying? So that's why, and why you want to get picked by the guy that can throw, because the guy that can throw can line up, and the kid that came from another neighborhood runs the 9 route, and he'll throw it right on a dime. Because either you have it or you don't. And Tua has it. All right, let's get ready for hour number 3 on the program, baby. We do that next.
When you're ready to purchase a new home or refinance the one you have, American Dream Lending will make sure your loan experience is easy with fast approvals and quick closings. With many loan programs and competitive rates, now is the time to turn your dreams into reality. Ask about special financing for veterans. They never charge an application fee, and you will work directly with one of their experienced loan professionals. Stop dreaming and contact American Dream Lending today. 786-802-1727 or online at adreamlending.com.
All right, we are ready for hour number 3, and look who's popped up, my man Eves at American Dream Lending. He is ready to rock and roll. Eves, how you doing, my man? You ready for this weekend and Dolphin season?
It's going to be a big weekend, and we got a big start to the football season here. And it seems like from this past weekend in the UM game and going into Dolphins games, it's all the talks about Alabama. I mean, we have 2-star quarterbacks from Alabama facing off in one of the biggest AFC East rivalries. And the question is, who's going to take home the win?
Yeah, I listen, I got to tell you, Eves, I like the Dolphins. I really do. I think people are underestimating the Dolphins, and that's fine. I talked about that when we started the show. And I think it's one of those things that it's a respect that you've got to earn. And I think you come up with another great season this year and you win 10, 11, 12 games, get into the playoffs. I think now people will see back-to-back years of winning 10 games. And I think Miami will start getting that respect. And we all know New England is getting that respect because of their history with Belichick and with Brady. But it's the Dolphins that ended the run for Brady and Belichick 2 years ago when they knocked them out of the bye week and forced them to go to the wild card round. So that's what a lot of people leave out, that the coach that's here now is the guy that ended the run for the New England Patriots. The coach that's here now coached and worked with Belichick for 15 years. He knows the man very well. And that's why I really like the Dolphins this week. And I think people are disrespecting Tua. I think Tua's going to ball out also, too, at the same time.
I think too is, shaking off those rookie season jitters. He feels comfortable. He feels confident. And I think he's going to go out and perform. And we're going to have a great game.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Now, if people want to have a great game plan when it comes to mortgages, and as you know, Eves, one of the biggest decisions you'll make in your life is purchasing a home, but
Definitely.
making sure you get the right company like American Dream Lending to help you out, that's got to be the key, my brother, right?
The key is definitely having a good team. Having a team that's going to answer the phone of the listing agent accepting your offer in this hot market on Saturday night when you're making it after you've seen a house, that's whose offer is going to get accepted. And we pride ourselves on making ourselves, our staff, our entire team available after your normal banking hours, because 9 out of 10 times, that's when your realtor is going to be showing you that property and you're going to be making that offer. And it's made a huge difference in our offers being accepted over offers that buyers are approved with lenders that stop answering their phones at 4:59 every single day.
Well, I know you, dude. I've been around you long enough. That phone of yours doesn't stop ringing, and you never stop grabbing it too. That's the other thing. You're like, hey, give me a second. I got to get this. And so you got people constantly reaching out to you. And I know right now people should be reaching out to you, right? Because the rates are pretty damn low right now. Tell people about what kind of deals they can take advantage of right now.
Well, rates are low. Rates are down in the 2s and the low 3s right now on fixed rate mortgages. And a lot of people have their property values, they've appreciated a lot here in our local market in South Florida. So a lot of people are accessing equity, getting the cash they need for home improvements, maybe paying off some of that higher interest credit card debt that they've built up over the past year or two. And we're really out there lately just helping a lot of families increase the cash flow that they have coming into the household. And when you do that, your family lives a better life. You're able to entertain them, get the things that you need for your house, for your kids, for the wife, for your husband, in order to make your life a dream life, as we say. And that's what we're all about, just making dreams come true.
Well, let's hope the Dolphins can make our dreams come true and get to a Super Bowl. But if folks want to make their dreams come true, which you guys are doing a great job of that, and obviously great sponsors of ours here, Eves, what do they got to do to get in contact with you and dump that mortgage company there that's dragging their feet right now and call you, my friend?
Well, like you said, I always answer my cell phone, so call me on my cell phone. 305-992-5218. We take calls 7 days a week. I look forward to hearing from you. If you want to check us out before you give us a call, visit our website, adreamlending.com. We're 5-star Google rated, 5-star Zillow rated, and we want to give you that 5-star experience.
And you will get that 5-star experience. I know them personally. Tell them that we sent you, and trust me, Eves will definitely take care of you. Eves, enjoy the game this weekend, my brother, because I know the Dolphins are gonna make us happy, my friend. I appreciate you joining us.
S Fins, let's go, baby. Let's beat the Patriots.
I'm with you, baby. You be good, Eves. Thank you, my brother.
Big O, have a good one. We'll talk to you soon.
You got
When
it.
you're ready to purchase a new home or refinance the one you have, American Dream Lending will make sure your loan experience is easy with fast approvals and quick closings. With many loan programs and competitive rates, now is the time to turn your dreams into reality. Ask about special financing for veterans. They never charge an application fee, and you will work directly with one of their experienced loan professionals. Stop dreaming and contact American Dream Lending today. 786-802-1727 or online at adreamlending.com.
All right, we're back. As always, appreciate all of you out there tuning in and keeping it locked. And please call my guy, Eves, over there at American Dream Lending. Go to the website, adreamlending.com, adreamlending.com, 786-930-4818. Good people, man. Good people. So if you're kind of sick of dealing with that current mortgage company, everybody there will work with you at American Dream Lending, and they'll make your process a lot easier, because I know it's a pain in the ass. I mean, I haven't done it in a long time, but I know it can be a pain in the ass at times, and you want people that you can actually trust. So please tell them that Big O sent you, and trust me, Eves and company will take care of you at American Dream Lending. Go to adreamlending.com. Good stuff there as always. Big O, I've been a Dolphin fan since '69. I'm with you 100%. I can't understand outsiders being so negative, but we have people like TD, Reason, and even DDW has a wait and see approach. Are they just scared? Well, I mean, yeah. Look, my job as a talk show host is to tell you what I think. And then sometimes I'm going to go out on a limb and tell you that I think this is bad or this is good. And some people may not be as comfortable putting their butts on the line and doing those kind of things. And I know you guys put me in that position all the time, and it's usually a lose-lose situation, of course, but that's all right. That's part of the game. And I think some people are still kind of nervous because they've got to see it to believe it. I just think it's going to happen now. I think it's finally, they've figured it out. That's all. But that's just me. Plenty of people thought the Ndamukong Suh move was good. I mean, what are you going to do? And I went out on a limb the second they signed him, and I said this was a terrible move. I think somebody was saying something about say what you want about Suh, but he was double teamed almost every play. I remember him hurdling an old lineman to get a sack. He did some amazing stuff. Yeah, Susie, he was a solid player. He was a good player. He was never $19 million worth. You don't pay $19 million to somebody that can't get to the quarterback. You don't pay $19 million to a guy that sacks the quarterback on average 5 times a year. It's not what you do. Now, if you do it 12, 15 times, that's who you pay $19 million a year. That's my point. I'm not saying Suh was a bad player. Suh's a damn good player. But his kind of defensive tackle is not the defensive tackle that Aaron Donald is and Warren Sapp was. Not even close. That's the difference. Now, if you're going to pay $19 million to a defensive tackle, well, it's got to be a defensive tackle that can sack people and is an absolute disruptor. He's not a disruptor. He's more of a gap penetrator, holding up 2 guys, but he's not a guy that really is going to actually sack the quarterback and wreck everything. No, that's not who he is. Different kind of player. Again, there you go. Big O, I found your show after you were on DDW. I listen every morning from Pennsylvania. So glad I don't have to listen to national media anymore. Well, thank you, sir. I'm glad you're not listening to the national media because they don't know shit about the Dolphins. So it's all good. They don't know jack about the Heat or the Canes or the Marlins or the Panthers or Inter Miami. So appreciate you, sir. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Let's see. What else do we have here? I've never seen a national media attack a player so bad, making a story about a player not being a team captain. Come on. Yeah, that whole team captain stuff just is it's a ridiculous story at this point. It's people that are just overreacting to it. Look, you know what's developed with Tua? And it's weird, man. I know the Dolphins inquired about Watson. I get that. But I don't believe that. See, here's where I think it's been spun by the media, and they've spun it to a way to make it sexy for them so they can get clicks, they can get you pissed off, so that you click and you read just so you get even more pissed off, right? I believe you have an aggressive front office here in Miami. They're not going to just stand still and keep anybody around that keeps them average or helps them lose. No. If you're not helping them win, you're not going to be around. So I get all of that. But it's way too early to make any kind of determination on Tua right now, right? And overall, he had a pretty good rookie year. But it behooves you as a franchise that if a top 5 quarterback becomes available, you have to at least inquire. And I think that's what the Dolphins did because they're responsible. They wanted to inquire. And who knows? Maybe the Jets were inquiring, and then that's why. But now the Jets have their quarterback. The Patriots have their quarterback. And the Bills have their quarterback. Maybe the Dolphins are going to pull back a little bit now because they don't worry so much about the division going after the quarterback because people talked about the Jets. People talked about the Patriots being involved in this mix. Now they're probably out of it. And maybe the Dolphins were inquiring because they wanted to help raise the price for it to then raise it on those guys. But the Patriots aren't going to overpay for a guy, and I don't believe Chris Greer is going to overpay for a guy. The Jets will because the Jets are the Jets. And several other teams will give up Mike Lynn type of picks or Mike Ditka. For those of you that are too young, go see the Ricky Williams trade and the Herschel Walker trade so you can see the amount of picks that were available because Mike Dick is an idiot and because Mike Lynn is an idiot. Okay? So, bottom line is, I think they've gotten this story and they've twisted it and tried to make it as controversial as possible, as juicy as possible, and to try to make it as, let's say, because the Dolphins have been an utter mess for a long time, they want to then continue the narrative that the Dolphins still don't know what the hell they're doing and that they're not convinced with their quarterback, which at no point the Dolphins have said that. And we don't know why the Dolphins were actually involved in the whole Watson fiasco. We don't know. We don't know what their agenda is. Nobody talks to Greer and Flo. Those two guys don't talk to Adam Schefter and Ian Rappaport. They don't talk to any of our local guys here. They don't talk to any women across the country. They don't give Josina Anderson or Susie Colbert or anybody that works in the NFL, covering the NFL or whatever. They don't talk to a damn person. So none of them really know what the hell those two guys are thinking and what they're trying to do. But let's spin it like they're completely unhappy with the kid, even though they do everything to help the kid. Charlie Fry, Jalen Waddle, Will Fuller, everything. They've drafted a shitload of offensive linemen because they're trying to fix their offensive line. They're trying to do everything possible. They have said everything possible. The team even put Ohana on the damn Twitter page, which means family. Every indication has been that they like the guy. The only thing was that they inquired because what are you going to do? Are you not going to at least inquire? Is this guy available? Well, let's find out. But just in case, even if we're not interested, let's help drive up the price for the Jets. Let's help drive up the price for whoever wants to trade for him. Or, hey, man, we bamboozled the shit out of them for Laramie Tunsil. You know what? I schooled them on Laramie Tunsil. Maybe these idiots will give us Watson for nothing also. Let's inquire. That's the kind of front office you have. But no, let's spin it like they've been unhappy with him. Well, wait a minute. They were unhappy with Josh Rosen. I think the coach said he had seen enough. Has he said that about Tua? At any point, did Chris Greer say, now we've seen enough? Did they go get another quarterback? Because, you know, if you're so unhappy with Tua, well, why didn't you make another move for another quarterback? It's so ridiculous, this story. Do you know that I've seen national media people, and I hate to do this because I know I'm going to trash somebody now in the process of this, but I've seen national media people that say, well, you know, they also got Jacoby Brissett there. So they brought him in because if they're not comfortable with Tua, they'll go right to Jacoby Brissett, who's a professional. They leave out the fact that I like Jacoby Brissett as a backup, but they leave out the fact that Jacoby Brissett is not a starter in this league. But no, let's spin it like, no, they got Brissett because just in case they're not happy with. No, they didn't, dude. They got him because he's a backup. That's what Jacoby Brissett is. That's what he's always been. That's what he always will be. And there's nothing wrong with that. I would love to be a backup quarterback and make $4, $5, $7, $8, $9, $10 million a year, because that's what backups are making. They're making good jingle. I'd give anything to be a backup quarterback. Hey, oh, you never started in the league. I don't give a shit. You want to see my bank account, bitch? That's all. So to me, they've turned this story when there is fundamentally no proof. That's the beauty of all of this. There is zero effing proof that they don't like Tua. There was tons of proof they didn't like Rosen. They did everything to keep Rosen away from starting. All they've done is they want Tua to play. They want Tua to be the starter. They put everything around Tua to help him, and they say all the right things about Tua. But yet, no, let's spin this shit. And that to me is what's gone on here. Yeah, dude, they inquired. Of course they inquired, because they've got to be in the mix in everything. That's what people don't understand. You want to find out. Receiver becomes available. But wait a minute, you got Jalen Waddle and Will Fuller. I don't care. Are you kidding me? You're making this guy available? CeeDee Lamb's available? I got to inquire. Oh, they hate Will Fuller. They hate Jalen Waddle. No, dude. CeeDee Lamb became available. I just got to find out what is. What are you trading him for? What do you want for him? Same thing here. You're irresponsible. You drafted a quarterback that has an injury history just to kind of like, if you're the Dolphin front office, you have to say, well, hey, we like Tua, but he has an injury history. So let's find out about Watson just in case. You don't want that? I want that. I'm good. I love Tua. The only concern I've ever had about Tua is injury. I'm not concerned if he can play. I know he can play. I know he can win. I know he can be a Super Bowl quarterback. I know he can be elite. You don't teach accuracy and ball placement and anticipation, ladies and gentlemen. I'm sorry. You don't teach it. You either have it or you don't have it. This is what's happened with this story. It's created its own legs, and it's run in that direction when there is zero proof. Zero. That's the problem. That's what's gone on here the entire time. All right. Remember, you can reach out to us many different ways. You can reach out to us on the Yahoo email, BigORadioShow@yahoo.com, Twitter, Big O Show, on YouTube, of course, right here on the chat board. You can always reach out to us. And remember, whenever you're listening to the podcast, you like something, you hate something, send me the email, BigORadioShow@yahoo.com. Everything's Big O Radio Show pretty much. The only thing that isn't is Twitter. Twitter's Big O Show, but everything else is Big O Radio Show, and you can find us all over the damn place and everywhere that you want to download. Amazon, iTunes, Spotify, Stitcher, radio.net, whatever. You can find our podcast anywhere and everywhere. Podbean, you name it. Okay? What else do we have here that I wanted to talk about here on the program? Marlins obviously back in action with the Mutts tonight. Marcus Stroman taking on Jesus Lazardo, local kid, the Parkland young man. Looking forward to tonight's Cowboys-Bucks game, man. It's nice to have some NFL. God, it's really nice to have the NFL and back in the mix. Needed it badly, man. We got basketball around the corner, which is awesome. It's nice to see this part of the years coming by, and we'll have hopefully a better season than we had last year. I'm talking about the Dolphins. Hopefully COVID won't be unfortunate. It looks like it's going to be a problem, obviously, again, still with us. I almost feel like this COVID crap is going to last with us for several years, man, 4 or 5 years, that our lives are going to change and we're going to have to live differently until we can really obliterate this thing and get everybody vaccinated. You know what I mean? I saw yesterday that all the venues in town are pretty much gotten together. And if you want to go to a concert or you want to go to a play at Adrian Arce or the Broward Center or whatever it is, you're going to require your vaccination card or even take a vaccine test right there and then to be negative to get in. Yeah. So be prepared. That's where life is going. So unfortunately, I hope COVID doesn't play a big part in affecting, anything that goes on with all of our teams locally here. You know what I mean? Look, even Inter Miami, they've had one hell of a run here. It's been awesome to watch. I don't know if they can keep it up, but man, the last thing I want for them is to have any more COVID issues, because then that would hurt them. You know what I mean? So I think it's going to be a part of our lives for several years until we're able to get everybody vaccinated and able to eliminate this thing. New York City Sports says, this is just a guess, but inquiring about Watson is more than just raising the price for the Jets. Also, in my opinion, where there is smoke, it must be fire about Watson. Yeah, I mean, you would be disappointed in your team. Any team doesn't have a quarterback proven yet that if you didn't inquire about Watson. You have to. You have no choice. It's the responsible thing to do. Nobody cares about the Marlins. We know that, sir. I know that a lot of people don't care. That doesn't mean that I won't talk about them, sir. Okay? Just so you know. I guess you're also new to the show. It's not going to be all Dolphins. We're going to talk Canes. We're going to talk Panthers. We're going to talk Marlins. We're going to talk a lot of Heat. We're going to talk Inter Miami. I am an all sports fan. All right? So telling me that you don't like soccer or hockey or baseball doesn't mean anything to me. And it's not going to stop me from doing it. You'll just have to tune out during that segment. And you can come back at another time if you want. Or listen on the podcast so you can pick and choose what you want to listen to. That's why we slice up the podcast with a Ginsu knife. Because we understand how this world is. So sorry that you don't like the Marlins and you don't care about the Marlins, but you know what? I care about all sports. Hockey is coming up soon, isn't it? Yes, sir. Can't wait. We'll get George Richards on. We'll get David Dwork on. We'll get some of the Panthers on. We'll take care of it. Definitely. If anyone listening shows up to NorCal Dolphins Club watch party and says, Big O Show rocks, gets one free raffle ticket to win an autographed gear. How about that? So if you're listening to the show and you go to NorCal's Dolphin Club's watch party, you got to say our show rocks, and you will get one free raffle ticket to win autographed gear. That is very cool. Nice job by you, NorCal, as always. Hey, I'm about that year Ireland went on a spending spree. Wallace, Keller, Wheeler, and oh my gosh, what a waste of money. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Big O, all the national guys say if there was no Watson off the field drama, Watson is on the Dolphins right now. Well, they can say whatever they want. You know what I mean? I can say if I looked like let's see. Give me if I look like David Beckham, then maybe I have a shot at a Halle Berry. And we can all come up with crazy things, bro. You know what I'm saying? Alex Hanna says, Breeders' Cup at Del Mar this year. I watch horse racing. Now, I would just watch the big races. And then once in a while, I haven't done it the last couple of years because of the whole pandemic crap. But I always love going with the wife out to Gulfstream or Hialeah. And then, just sit there, pick some horses and watch some stuff. It's fun. I enjoy horse racing, but it's not something we're ever going to carry a conversation with on the show, unfortunately. That's the sad part about all of that. OG Highway says, does beating the Pats come down to stacking 8 men in the box and daring Mac Jones to beat them? Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Because you have the secondary that can do that. Yes, sir. That's exactly what it is. Look, you cannot allow them to run Harris and these guys all over you. You cannot do that. You know Mac Jones is not going to be running. It's going to be the running backs. And there's no doubt with their line, which is one of the strengths of their team, they're going to want to punch Miami in the mouth, and they're going to want to shove the ball down their throat, and they're going to want to force Mac Jones to be in 3rd and 2s and 3rd and 3s and things like that. So that way he has, as you all know, the entire playbook to play with. But if you could get him into the 3rd and 8s and the 3rd and 10s and the 3rd and 12s, then now all of a sudden that playbook is limited. And now the secondary can get after it, and then you can put some pressure on the kid. You know what I'm saying? But there's no doubt that it's all about New England trying to punch you in the mouth with the run game. What I don't believe is they're not going to come out and throw the ball 55 times in this game. Unless somehow or another the Dolphins get a bunch of turnovers early, take a 21-point lead, and then they got no choice but to throw the ball 55 times to try to play catch-up. You know what I'm saying? So maybe that's the case. But, sir, you are OG Highway. You're 1,000% right. Miami has to be able to punch them in the mouth and say, no, I'm sorry. You're not running here today anymore. No. Kid's going to have to beat us. And then that's when X and Byron Jones and company have got to do their job. By the way, you got the likes you've hit the like button all the way up to 264. And there's 250 watching right now. So that, I got to say, 270 now, I just refreshed it. That's strong. That's super strong. And if there's any of you out there at 254 and you have not hit the like button, please hit that like button. Let's get it now. Now we're 30 away from 300, man. So if you're one of those 30 that has not hit the like button, please smash the hell out of that like button. Let's get to 300, man. Big O, I saw it. The Pats' other starting CB is on the injury list. Yeah, Mills, I think it is the kid that's banged up. Yeah, and they don't have their top guy in Samuel. So, I'm not worried. I think Miami is – I'm not saying it's going to be an easy game because nothing against Belichick is easy, but I have confidence that the Dolphins will figure it out and they'll win, man. I really do. Are there any sports you don't consider real sports? For me, it's esports. Sir, I don't know shit about esports. I don't consider it a sport because those aren't athletes. That's a skill that they're using. But I admire those kids because, dude, I grew up playing Atari and all that stuff. I had no idea that you can actually make a living from that down the line. And now watching how these young men and women are have an opportunity to make a living out of that, God bless them, man. I'm impressed with that. I got to say, really impressed with that. Is it a sport? No. Can I sit there and watch them? No. Now, I did go to the event at the University of Miami a couple of years ago, and I thought that was a really cool event where they had all kinds of gamers and gaming, and that was impressive. And when I was running onside, I had an E-minute on it, and I wanted to expand to get an E-show. I had one on 1210, but unfortunately, when you're trying to do something and the other half, one didn't, one's full of lies and no money, and then the other one was completely half-ass, it's hard to do what you really want to do here in South Florida. Unfortunately, what are you going to do? But esports is something that I respect. I'll tell you that. I don't know much about it. I don't follow it, but I respect it because it's legit. Not a sport, but it's legit. You make work go by faster for me, Finn's fan in New York City. That's flattering, sir. That's flattering. I appreciate that. Pat in Nashville says, mini golf season starts Sunday at 4 p.m. Big dilemma for me, I haven't missed a Finns game since 96, but those windmill holes, oh, yeah. Got to hit it. Got to make sure the windmill is – what you got to do is as the windmill's right about to pass that hole, that's when you hit it. So that way, by the time the ball gets there, the windmill had just passed the hole, and then you can try to get it into that windmill. That's just a tip for you. Just a tip. I got some experience. I'm actually I suck at golf, but at putt-putt, oh, man, I'll kick your ass. Holy crap, I'll kick your ass. I'm good at putt-putt. I'm a badass at putt-putt. Seriously, I am not joking whatsoever. I'm outstanding on those putt-putt courses. Now, golf, no, dude. Hanging out with a Presidente light in my hand or some kind of beer or something and a cigar, and I'm just joking around, spraying balls all over the place. Yeah, when you're asking me to have to whack it all at one, that's not a good combination for me. Now, if it's just a tap, hey, I can do that, bro. I can bounce it off a wall and all. Yeah, I can do that. It's kind of like what it is it's like I'm decent in pool, right? I'm not like my boy Bill. Bill is he's like a half professional guy. I can't even play pool with the guy because he's like playing every rule that there is in pool, and I don't follow rules, not in pool or golf either. Because it's not something, but I do decent in pool. But that's kind of what putt-putt is. It's like a big giant pool table, except it's not a pool stick, it's a golf club. And it's not a billiard ball, it's a golf ball. That's all. Kind of the same thing. That's kind of the way I look at it. Same concept. Let's see. Mills on the injured list. Oh, damn. We won't see Parker destroy Jalen Mills just like he did versus the Eagles in 2009. And Asante is it not Asante Samuel? It's what's the guy's name? Their top corner of Parker. Remember, Parker destroyed him too. Somebody help me out. What's his damn name? It's not Asante Samuel, right? I'm getting confused here. Here we go. Let me pull it up here. Gilmore. There you go. Stephon Gilmore. Thank you, sir. Appreciate it. Parker destroyed Stephon Gilmore. Remember that? But that was my favorite moment of Devontae Parker's career. Because Devontae Parker is such a quiet dude, right? I remember after that game, I was praising Devontae Parker so much because I loved it because he came out of his shell, and it was the first time we'd seen Devontae Parker talk trash. And so he smoked Stephon Gilmore. He made him look like nothing. And he's an all-pro corner. And he used and abused him that whole game. He couldn't cover Parker. Couldn't cover him. And a couple times after he caught the ball, he let Stephon Gilmore know. And I was like jumping out of my chair. I was loving this after the game. I was like, wow, this is awesome. Watching this Parker. Because you think about it, ladies and gentlemen, the way Parker has played, and he's all beat up, and he's not even 100% ever. Can you imagine if that kid never really had the injuries and he was able to actually live up to his abilities? Because he's still been an effective receiver, even injured, even not at 100%, because he will never be 100% ever. It's impossible, unfortunately. Parker is just like you and me. You and I would break down just like Parker does at that level because the body's not made for that. It is a freakish thing to be able to stay healthy. So Parker can abuse and use all of them. And so I'm with you. That's why I'm really confident about the team this week. Big O, you never spoke about what happened with the owner of AM 1210. Did he screw you over? I mean, there's nothing to talk about. It's just, it was useless at all. Phony. That's all. Everybody got screwed. It's a shame. That's the way this business is, man. You run into a lot of incompetence. And it's the way it goes, man. That's why it's rough. Clearly I'm not the problem. That I can tell you. That's for sure that I'm not the problem. But, it is what it is, man. What are you going to do? But I'm good. It's crazy. I've had a rough go in this business. I want to say the last about 12 years. It's been kind of rough, man. From watching a salesperson was given the job as a program director at QAM. And this fool thought he could load up with athletes on radio and survive because he thought he could sell them and all that. And one thing he missed out on, first of all, he didn't realize that, I don't know, maybe about 70% of the athletes are way too effing lazy to be an everyday talk show host because they don't follow all sports. They're not going to be watching the United States and Honduras last night like I was. They won't know soccer. They won't know hockey. They won't follow baseball. If they're a football guy, that's all they'll know. If they're a basketball guy, that's all they'll know. And then the other thing is, most athletes are incredibly lazy for radio. Not lazy, incredibly lazy. And then the other thing that he also forgot was that they can't do live spots. They struggle to put a couple sentences together, most of them. Unfortunately, that's the truth. I'm sorry. It is what it is. Sorry for stereotyping, but what are you going to do? You think you're going to find 8 Joe Roses, and there aren't any. There's only one Joe. And Joe's cut from a different cloth, and he works his ass off. He cares about all the teams. He follows all of them. He watches all of them so he can talk about it, all that kind of stuff. So you're not going to find the Joe Roses. So obviously I had my issues there, and then I had to go to 640, which then they filed for bankruptcy, right? And that whole company was filing for bankruptcy. Although I will say this, that owner is an awesome human being, because that guy, while going through Chapter 11, stayed in contact with me the entire time and assured me that I would get paid and everything. And he had an affinity for me, and I appreciate that. That's why he wanted to bring me over. And I loved it, but unfortunately, he didn't have the money to really raise 640. So it is what it is. We move on. And we went back to QAM. But then CBS took over, and CBS then started to fire everybody left and right. Right? Not me. I didn't get fired by CBS, but they fired my producer that was with me for 7 years that I brought from 640. They fired a ton of people. JT Wilcox and what's it called? Captain Curtis and all kinds of really good people, man. And they didn't care about the business. They were trying to then, that what they were doing all across the country was firing all kinds of salary people to lower the overhead to then sell it to Intercom, which is what they did. They lowered the overhead. They sold it to Intercom. Then Intercom ends up buying too many stations. And they don't have the money for all those stations. And they don't have the money for all the talent it takes to run all those stations. And that's why Intercom / Odyssey now has lost or fired over 70% of their hosts. So they're doing all the cookie cutter stuff on FM. They'll have a couple of DJs voice 100 stations, 150 stations. It's their same voice. You'll hear the voice here in Fort Lauderdale, like you'll hear it in Wichita, like you'll hear it in Fargo, like you'll hear it in Los Angeles and Seattle. Same woman, same man, whatever it is. And now in sports and talk, they're doing the same thing. Look locally. They've got shows running on 560 and 790. Why? Because they don't have the money to run both stations. And they're too stupid to figure out, well, wait a minute, if we put a different show on another station, we could get another audience. But they don't think that. So this is what I had to deal with. And then I go over to 1210 where they got nothing to work with. Nothing. You know, going to 1210 is like that scene from History of the World Part 1, where the guy there's the market part where they're all selling things, and one guy goes, "I've got nothing for sale." Nothing for sale. That's nothing. And then, so I do my podcast, which went really well, actually. And then I cast aside the podcast because I really wanted to do the Onside Project and create a real sports station for South Florida. But of course, not enough support. So not even close. So there you go. That's the story. And it is what it is, dude. But what are you going to do? You know, what you can't do is cower in some effing corner and cry and point and say, oh, woe is me. And oh my God. And what am I going to do? And this and that. You get up off your ass. You put your head down, you work, and you figure your way out of it. And that's what you do. And that's in anything in life, because you're always going to get your ass kicked at one point or another. And a lot of times it's not for your own fault. I did a Spanish sports talk show years ago, 30 years ago. And I had to leave the station. All of us had to leave because the owner was getting a divorce and had to sell the station to make it liquid. Because he had to give the wife didn't want to have the station. She wanted the money. So he had to sell the station to then pay the wife and half of the money. And it went from a Spanish sports talk format / news to religion. Radio Peace bought it off them. I mean, it's crazy, man. I tell you, radio is one of those as I've told many of you over the years that you've met me or whatever, anybody, I would love to do what you do. You don't want to do this. You don't want to deal with the kind of people that are in this business, dude. You just don't. You know, radio is newspaper is the worst. Radio is right after it now. That's it. Media has just become absolute. The worst thing that ever happened was the government allowing companies to scoop up all the stations and raise and eliminating the regulations on it. And then all of a sudden it was 4 or 5 companies that bought all the stations. When I first got into the business, it was all mom and pop stations. Yeah, you had some big companies that had some stations, but there were mom and pop businesses all over the place, which was great because that means you could get another job and you can use leverage for another job and all that. Once 4 companies bought all the stations, you leave one company, there's only another company left, and then there's not much left after that, and it's terrible, man. It's terrible. But it is what it is. Don't feel sorry for me whatsoever. I'm fine. I'm good. This is the best thing that's ever happened to me, actually. You know, when it's all said and done, you know, I was going to close with this and I forgot to say it. When it's all said and done, I'm glad the last experiences happened to me. I'm glad what happened to me at 1210. I'm glad what happened to me at Onside, because in between I did my podcast and it went so well that then I had something to lean back on. And you think about it, 5-10 years from now, 5-10 years ago, I could never do this and survive. Now it's different. The world is different. It's a digital world. More people are used to podcasting. More people are used to listening at their own time because they do that now with TV. So now they're doing that with audio. Most people aren't watching live TV anymore if it isn't maybe for sports or news. Most people aren't listening to live radio anymore. They're listening to their iTunes and Pandora and all their other places that they go for music because they don't want to hear a lot of the bullshit that goes on. That's the problem. So luckily for me, everything happened for a reason, and it's put me in a better place when it's all said and done. Has it been a smooth road? Hell no. But that's all right, man. You know, I'm fine. We'll get through it. Not a big deal. Big O, other than Hawk and Crowder, local radio is dead. Even Joe's caller-driven show was handicapped. Yeah, well, they don't take calls. They haven't been taking calls in years. They don't want you to take calls. You guys know that, right? You know that the people above them tell them, don't take any calls. Don't make the listeners part of your show. They will destroy your show, yada, 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 and all that. And look, you do have some listeners that will come up with some stupid ass stuff. And you're talking about, football. And then they'll come in and some guy wants to ask you, some kind of a question about tennis. And you're like, dude, we're talking football now. It's like, get out of here. So, yeah, there are moments that callers can derail what you do because they're not following what the format is or whatever. But still, I think it's incredibly important to connect with your audience and talk with them and exchange with them. And that's why I do take your questions. Although phone calls are overrated now. I did learn that with Onside. We added phones, and that was one mistake that if I ever did the station thing again, which I don't think I am, but if I ever did it again, no phone calls would ever be part of it. You don't need it anymore. With chat, I think people are better off texting and emailing and things like that. They love connecting that way instead of a phone call. I just think it's better, actually. Big O, would you ever consider, if given the chance, to return to Mad Dog Radio? Yeah, Mad Dog I would do. Yes, I would do satellite. That's the only thing that I would do is satellite. I like the people in satellite. They think more along the lines like I do. So, yes, satellite I would do. I would not do ever local radio again. There's no way I would work with the idiots over there at 560. I mean, give me a break. I forgot more than what Len Weiner knows. What, you know what I mean? I watch it firsthand. I can tell the guy knows absolutely nothing. How he got to where he got is amazing to me. You know what I mean? But I've watched this in the business. Some people are really good at kissing ass, bro. I mean, that's just that'll get you places sometimes. Eventually it'll catch up to you, but I've watched those who are really good at sucking ass so they can climb. That's not my style. Big O, do you think the league will figure out our blitz package because we don't have an elite pass rusher? Well, my man, how do you know that Jalen Phillips will not become elite? How do you know that Emmanuel Ogbah and his 9 sacks starts to open it up for him to go get 12 now? And the confidence is at that point for him that he feels like I can get it done now. We don't know that yet. Andrew Van Ginkel's a guy that maybe maybe they release the crack in there and maybe he becomes a better pass rusher. But you're right. Right now, it doesn't look like you have an elite pass rusher at the moment. But I think this team is elite enough that they're going to be able to pressure the quarterback in all kinds of ways. So I would not give up on that part of this Miami Dolphins team. Big O, I think we will be a top 5 offense this year. Am I a blind-ass fan? It would be an amazing feat for them to become a top 5 offense. But I can't call you crazy when I'm saying Tua is going to throw 30-plus touchdowns. I'm with you, man. I really like this offense. I really do. And I think that the offensive line can turn into a serviceable offensive line. Right now, do they look like they can be dominant? No. Not yet, at least. But the kids might, like on the defensive end, maybe they grow into elite. Maybe this line grows into getting better. But we got to give it a chance. But I like this offense with the weapons. I'm with you. There's a chance. I don't think they will end up top 5, but I think they could be in the top 10, top 12. I really do. I think it could be a really good offense. So I'm not going to call you crazy on that, my brother. By the way, the Bucs are favored by 9.5, depending on where you get it. Either way, I'd go Bucs, 9 or 9.5. Still need a 10, right? So I think they'll win by 10 points. I just don't trust the Cowboys. But I do like the over also because the Cowboys do have a good offense. So I think both will put points up on the board. I certainly don't like the Cowboys defense. So I think Tampa's going to slice them up too. I like the points here. Saturday, Inter Miami taking on Columbus. Inter Miami favored by half a goal in that one. Roddy White yesterday. Let me share a little something for you with Roddy White yesterday because I was kind of laughing with Roddy White. And Roddy is known as a good dude. I can tell you that for sure because I got to know him when he was coming out of college. I know his agents, got to meet him a couple times throughout his career. Roddy's a good dude, known as a really good dude. And yesterday, he tweets this out. And he puts, I wish Big Ben would feel the same way about AB getting paid in Pittsburgh, how he feels about TJ. Hell, AB would still be there. I ain't hear none of this talk when AB was trying to get an extension and TJ played defense. Now, Roddy did not answer back to my tweet because really in the end, is Roddy White going to make himself look like a bigger idiot? Right? Because all I would do is crush him because he cannot answer me. And if he does, he's going to look even dumber than he looks already. First of all, I think he kind of forgot that Antonio Brown is a moron that was filming his team on Facebook Live. The guy that, allegedly assaults women. The guy that beats up truck drivers. That guy? The guy that acted like he was also a jerk to Ben. But then, on the flip side, Big Ben's also a lowlife. I mean, allegedly, we know what he got away with. He's been an idiot saying stupid things in the past, calling out teammates publicly. Big Ben's been a first-class asshole. So I tweet back to Roddy, and I'm not surprised he's not going to answer me. I'm amused Roddy would think two assholes, and I put in parentheses, and I'm being nice, because I'm being nice calling Antonio Brown and Big Ben assholes. I'm being incredibly nice on that one. Anyway, I'm amused Roddy would think two assholes like Big Ben and AB are going to do the right thing in most situations. And neither guy deserves to be defended in any way. And then I put, I guess Roddy is having memory issues. And then I put, appreciate the laugh. Obviously, again, did not get a response, because why would I get a response from him? Because it was a incredibly stupid ass tweet. You don't defend Antonio Brown, and you don't defend Big Ben either. TJ Watt actually looks like a good dude. If he's half of what JJ Watt is as a human being, he's a phenomenal person. So I'm not even going to, I don't care about TJ. I'm not even putting him in the mix. But I just found it funny that Roddy all of a sudden forgets what kind of a first-class asshole Antonio Brown is. And then he also forgets what a kind of first-class asshole Big Ben is, and that he would actually defend one or the other. And then I guess he doesn't remember all the crap that Antonio Brown pulled on the scene, behind the scenes, at Pittsburgh, the stuff we know about and the stuff we don't know about. And we all now know something we didn't know about Mike Tomlin. That guy is amazing. He had to deal with Le'Veon Bell, Antonio Brown, and Big Ben. 3 first-class morons. And the only reason Big Ben's still there is because he's a quarterback. It's harder to replace a quarterback than it is a receiver and a running back. But, Roddy, thank you for the laugh, my brother, because I found it hilarious that you would actually use those two guys as some kind of an example. The worst example is to give Antonio Brown any kind of an excuse, leeway, or support. Georgia Tech Roddy? No, sir. UAB. I'm pretty sure of that. I can look it up. But I'm pretty sure. I want to say Roddy White is UAB. Let me see. I'm pretty sure. Let me see. UAB, baby. UAB. Not right all the time, But once in a while, it's in there. It's stored in my brain. I don't know. I can't, I don't know about those files, but I can tell you. Let's see. What do we have here? The Neil Rogers phone calls were tremendous. Squirt, 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 squirt. Van Ginkel will have 15 sacks. Ogba 14. I like that, dude. I like that a lot. That would be good. Did you guys see Hard Knocks? I saw the wrap-up version of Hard Knocks, and I got to tell you, what's the kid's name is Diggs. What's his first name? Aiden Diggs. And that's the cornerback that was talking a lot of crap and going back and forth with Roddy and covering Amari Carter and all that stuff. Cooper, over with the Cowboys, and he was winning most of his battles with Amari Cooper. And so there's this scene with Aiden and his son has a Dak Prescott jersey and likes Dak Prescott, right? And they go have some ice cream. And so Dak then surprises them, and he has a jersey and he signs a jersey for the kid and all that stuff. And it's actually, I got to say, the kid is, I don't know what's above adorable. I don't know what word, I don't know what adjective I can find above adorable, but that kid is super adorable, lovable, likable, a character, you know what I mean? Like most kids are. But I just found it kind of funny because I thought it was a cool little scene. I'm going to share it with you because we have the video of it from Hard Knocks, and it's actually really, really cool. Let me play it for you here.
That's how fast.
Come on, let's go.
I want to care for Dak Prescott. He's my favorite quarterback in my whole entire world.
Wow, yes.
I want his phone number.
What you gonna say to it?
What's up?
Hi.
What's up, big man?
Hi.
How you doing?
Fine.
What's your name?
Aiden.
Aiden?
So, you're Patrick Mahomes?
You got Patrick Mahomes still? Whose jersey is this?
I mean, not Patrick Mahomes, or you're Dak Prescott?
Yeah.
So, good to see you.
So good to see you.
You can't keep getting me and Patrick confused. I don't have the hair. He's got the hair.
So,
He's got the hair like you.
Dak Prescott.
I'm Dak Prescott.
It's good to see you.
I gotta say, it's a really cool little scene because Dak then whips out a little jersey, right, that they had prepared, and he puts "not Patrick Mahomes" and then signs it. You know what I mean? Dak Prescott is one of those guys that I feel, this is just my opinion, impossible not to like, impossible not to respect, impossible not to root for. Seriously, I like the guy, man. He's a leader. He's a winner. He's fought through everything, being a 4th-round pick, now the foot injury, all this kind of stuff. He's a really good human being, too. And then you watch that moment, and even you watch when Diggs and him are going back at each other and they're talking trash, and Diggs is bragging about, how he got the best of him and all that. And Dak is pure class in handling all of that. You know what I'm saying? And then to see him after go talk to Diggs' son and do all that, Dak Prescott is a guy that in a way, very Tua-like, right? In the sense that he's kind of Rodney Dangerfield. Tua's not getting any respect, and no respect for last year, which was phenomenal coming off the hip injury, all of that, still not getting any respect, even though he has shown some improvement. Of course, you got to see it in the regular season, but Dak too. Dak's thrown for 5,000 yards, and people discard him like he's, like he's a jag. And he's not a jag. He's a damn good quarterback. Now, is he Tom Brady? Maybe not. Is he Joe Montana? No, maybe not. Is he Russell Wilson? Maybe not. Is he Aaron Rodgers? Maybe not. But he might be a hair right under those guys. And that's still damn good. I've seen much lesser quarterbacks win the Super Bowl, like Peyton Manning recently, like Trent Dilfer, right? We've watched lesser quarterbacks win the Super Bowl. So you can win one with that. He's not the problem in Dallas. You know what I mean? But he is likable as hell, dude. I'm a big fan of his, man. I got to tell you, I root for good human beings. And to me, he just seems like a pro's pro and a really good human being. And that was one of those scenes that you really appreciate, certain guys. It's kind of like when you hear about Yu Darvish 2 nights ago, where the game was canceled and a son and a father drove 3.5 hours to be at that game. And the kid was depressed that the game didn't go on. But after the game, in the rain and all that stuff, you came out to sign autographs for some fans. And he signed the kid's autograph, and that made his entire day. He didn't get to see the game, but he met you, Darvish, and you did something classy. So it's cool. It's good to see those kind of things, take place. The other one that I saw that was kind of funny, what's it called? The Logan kids, right? So, no, Jake Paul, not Logan Paul, Jake Paul, the Paul kids, Jake Paul. So Jake Paul ends up calling out Tim Tebow to get in the ring. And we kind of knew where this was going anyways, right? This is not Tebow's beef. He's not going to do stuff like this, right? So they asked Tebow about that, about, getting in the boxing ring. So he talks a little bit about it.
YouTuber turned boxer Jake Paul not beat Tyron Woodley, and then brought your name into the conversation, Tim, and he tweeted this. He said, I think it's time for you to get into boxing. We've seen football with you. We've seen baseball with you. Give me a scouting report on Tim Tebow, the boxer. What would you be like?
You know, David, I did pretend to be Rocky in a lip sync battle, and I don't won that one. So, I don't know. I don't think there's much of a shot for that. But, at least I like wearing Rocky shorts in lip sync battle. That was fun.
So just to debunk any rumors that might start, you are not going into boxing. Is that correct?
I don't think that's where I'm probably going to head next.
No, not the best.
I like it.
Yeah, you're good where you are, Tim. We appreciate you joining us in Atlanta.
Appreciate you guys.
So there you go. So as expected, Tim Tebow's a lover, not a fighter. And he wasn't even a lover because he's a virgin. So you can't be a lover, you can't be a fighter. Is he still not getting laid? I'm just wondering, because you can't be that old and not get laid. Right? If Tim Tebow's still a virgin, I just want to warn the first woman that has sex with him. Because when that guy orgasms, like, the woman, I think, is going to explode. I mean, Tim Tebow is a human volcano walking around, the world. We're worried about Yellowstone going off, out in the Caribbean. We had one of the volcanoes erupt. I mean, volcanoes erupt all over the world. People don't understand. We have a mobile volcano walking around the United States named Tim Tebow. Because when you're nearly 40 and you haven't gotten laid, damn, the explosion's going to be big. I'm just saying. Just throwing it out there. Tim Tebow, the first time he has sex, will be charged with murder. I mean, that poor woman. He's going to orgasm. She's going to lose her head. Tim Tebow arrested for murder. Decapitates woman in sex. Now, the interesting part is, if Tim is in prison, you got the prison bitches, right? You've seen these crazy murderers on Murder's Row, and they're about to get killed. They're out, whatever, or they're there for 25 years, and the woman goes to visit and wants to even get married with the guy. The lines will be long as hell for Tim Tebow. Oh, Tebow's married? Is he really? Oh, I had no idea. Wow. Mind-blowing. The woman, he's married? Wow, that is strong. I had no idea Tim Tebow got married. How come that wasn't front? Tim Tebow getting married is like royalty. Forget the princess and the prince in England. That's garbage. We should have had Tim Tebow's wedding on television. Should be celebrated all over the world. I had no idea he was married. Strong. And she survived. Damn. Impressive. We got over 300, by the way. Thank you all out there. It's very nice of you. All right, we are out of here. We thank all of you as always. Thank you for joining us. Enjoy the football tonight, man. We'll talk a little bit about the Bucs and the Cowboys game tomorrow. We'll preview a lot of the Dolphins and New England matchup. We'll have several interviews for you. Obviously, Omar Kelly tomorrow, Ira Winderman tomorrow, Manny Navarro. We'll preview App State. I'm trying to do it with a straight face. I really am. I mean, the fact that we've lowered our standards to App State, that's just whatever. Anyway, but I thank all of you out there, as always, for keeping it locked and supporting us in a big-time way. Sean Stanley always kicking some serious ass. And, of course, Bill Preston getting it done. We will see you tomorrow. Same time, same place, same bat channel. I love you all. You all be good out there. Be safe and take care of each other.
When you need your warehouse looking good while staying efficient, there's only one place to find the finest racks in the business. Pallet Rack City in Hialeah. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547. Pallet Rack City is the company you need when you want your warehouse sporting the finest racks in the business. After all, who doesn't love a great rack? Pallet Rack City. 305-424-8547. That's 305-424-8547.